Nick Abbott.
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
Today, Britain's Assured Olympic Delivery Service, or whatever they're called, released a video for our forthcoming National Stadium of Olympic Excellence, or whatever it's called. It's fantastic. The video, I mean, whooshing and swirling, a kaleidoscope of action and colours. The stadium? Not so good. Indeed, in comparison with the video, the Olympics itself will be a letdown. Seb, call me Lord Coe, said in answer to the main criticism that most people in it won't have a roof over their heads and so will be soaked by our fabulous and reliable British summer, that the stadium in Athens didn't have a cover either. Just one small point, it doesn't rain there. And shoppers are apparently finding it increasingly difficult to find shirts with breast pockets these days. One man in his 70s railed that with these new-fangled pocketless shirts he has nowhere to put things. Pens are going uncarried in nerds' shirt pockets all over the land. Tailors say they ruin the line of the garment, but not as much as your average British male's giant swinging man boobs. And China continued its all-out attack on Britain's children by sending us a brightly coloured toy covered in lethal poison. Little beads of psychedelic yellow and red turn to a drug that causes hallucinations and seizures. Fun for all the family. It's what the young Pete Doherty used to play with as a child, and it's done him no harm at all. Maybe the man who made the Olympics video has been playing with it. Oh, I'm on about 3 games a day now, man, but I can handle it. I'm just feeling a bit loved up at the moment, that's all. Hello, boy and girl.
Hello, man.
Man! Ooh, that's the first time I've been called that. It's a breakthrough. Can I have that in writing?
Yep, I'll put it on the screen now.
Okay.
There you go.
That's probably a swear word in Gujarati.
Yep.
It looks disgusting. But not as disgusting as this tea, by the way. There's no sugar in the building at all. Now, I'm not blaming you personally.
Okay.
You've done very well.
He is blaming you
Under the
personally.
circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I could have just not made you one at all, but I thought no.
Could have not made me one at all.
Yeah.
What?
I thought no, you'll get to like the red bush without sugar.
Red Bush? Mm-hmm. Was that
Sounds strange, doesn't it?
Chris Evans' favourite tea, is it?
It was.
What's Red Bush?
I have no idea, and it smells really strange, so I gave it to you and
is it
I
a
had
brand?
coffee. Yeah.
Oh, well, then it's super. Or not, for balance.
If you just hold your nose whilst you're drinking it...
Everyone's trying to speak at the same time. Everyone go now.
Have you actually taken a sip yet?
Yeah, I've drunk half the cup.
Oh, okay.
What's it like?
It's like tea. It's just like hot...
Oh, really?
It's just hot water.
It
Apparently,
smells
tea from
bad.
now... I smell nothing, but then I've burnt the, my smell receptors out years ago.
What from?
I was sucking on the beads of Chinese toys. Affected me mentally. No, it's all right. It's like tea. Tea to me is just hot and wet.
Hot water?
Yeah.
Just a murky colour.
The tea that you get in bags is apparently, with no offence to anybody that sells tea in bags, rubbish. Somebody described it as if you bought a bag of carrots and only eating the peelings.
Only eating the bag.
It's the sweepings that they put in bags because you can't see what's in there, and people who buy tea in bags aren't expecting much anyway. I mean, they're not connoisseurs, are they? It's office tea. It's
I don't think I'll be drinking tea anymore.
Well, they're bringing out they're bringing out nylon tea bags.
Yes.
Which apparently will allow the flavour to flood out more easily, and the bags will be bigger, so they'll be able to put in actual leaves and not just dust, which is what you get in tea bags now, isn't it? It's dust. It's like those the sweet products that look suspiciously like the sweepings after they make like chocolate bars, for instance. After they make a chocolate bar, they don't make bits spill out of the mould, and so they have to do something with it, and so they boil it down and make it into
Maltesers.
oh, They don't make it into Maltesers. Can I just say, on behalf of everyone at LBC, they don't make it into Maltesers. I was going to say they make it into insert brand name of product here, and you went ahead and did it. You are
I'm one step ahead of you.
You're out of control. You're supposed to be the voice of reason on this show. Here's Crawley. Hello, Richard.
Oh, hi, Nick.
You see what I have to deal with?
Oh, well, yeah, you know, it's the new team, isn't it? You have to get used to it.
I suppose so.
You were talking with Ros and Alex about the Japanese bullet train.
Yesterday, yes.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure out why we have a Japanese bullet train. Those are the things that travel at, I don't know exactly how fast, so I'll just, I'll just pull a number from space. 300 miles an hour.
If you change the MPH to the KPH, you'll be right there.
Right.
There's a perception that the bullet trains are like super-duper fast and faster than anything else in the world, when in actual fact they're exactly the same speed as the ones in Europe, in other words, Eurostar, TGVs, and the German ice trains. So
we're all travelling at the same speed?
Yeah, pretty much everything has a top speed of 186 miles an hour, 300 kilometres per hour.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, the trains themselves can go pretty much, way faster than that, up to 300 miles an hour.
It'll be the tracks then?
Well, the tracks, yeah, it's a sort of, yeah, it is a track.
Doesn't it seem like old technology to you? I mean, don't they have magnetic trains in Japan?
Is the new thing, but...
because they have no friction, do they?
Yeah.
And so they can go just as fast as they like.
Well, the Germans have been, testing them for years, and I think the Shanghai airport is the only operating one, sort of the only high-speed maglev that's in a...
Because presumably that would make much less noise as well, much less vibration. There's a train that goes near me, well, there's a railway line at the end of the road, I'd say about 150 yards away. I hear no train at all, apart from the choo-choo train, the chuff-chuff train that goes about once every week or something like that. I think it links up with the Orient Express. It looks like something out of Harry Potter, And if you've ever been on one of those, it's almost pointless, because to get an experience of being on a train like that, you have to stick your head out the window. And the one thing that you that you haven't experienced before, if you stick your head out of the window of a normal train, you just get wind in your face, right? You stick your head out the window of a train with a coal-burning engine up the front, you get a face, and more importantly, an eye full of coal powder. And you decide you'll never do that again, and so you're just sitting there in a carriage, and it could be being pulled by anything, kind of ruining the entire reason for doing it. But that's not why you called.
Yeah, the track is the main reason why they're slower. But in actual fact, there's a massive safety margin, and there are test runs on.
Bound to be, yeah.
Up to 300 miles an hour. So it's quite, it's just for safety that they're restricted to 186. So I mean, they could potentially go a lot faster if they...
Well, having done it recently, if they were touching 186 miles an hour, that felt dangerously on the edge. I was actually concerned, like I was saying yesterday, as though I was on a fairground ride, and they were asking if we want to go any faster. Everybody on the ride was saying yes, apart from me, who was screaming, no, I want to get off. And I was slightly concerned. More concerned than if you were in a plane, because you have no perception, really, of how fast you're going in a plane. But on a train, it's the vibrations get. There's less of a gap between the vibrations. Well, isn't that right, Ros?
Yes.
The reason why you're getting bullet trains in London is because they're basically going to be running local trains to Kent as well as the Eurostar services from 2009. So it's not just for the Olympics. It'd be a bit of a waste of money just to have a train for the Olympics.
It sounds like a giant waste of money. The whole thing sounds like a waste of money to me. They spent 5.6, not million, billion pounds.
There is a good reason for
building the train track from Kent into King's Cross just to shave 20 minutes off the time
There's a very
to
good
Paris.
For that. If we continue after the travel, I can explain that in detail.
Oh, please don't.
Oh, well.
But you sound very excited about all this, Richard.
I'll phone you tomorrow if you don't continue after the travel.
Okay, great. Cheers, mate.
Okay, is that tomorrow then?
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow, yeah.
Okay,
thanks a lot. He sounded so energised by that whole train thing, didn't he?
Absolutely. Is he gone?
I'm going to send him some of that Red Bush tea in the post. Maybe it'll perk him right up. It's 7:15.
How may I help you?
How may I help you, John?
Me?
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just wondering, a bit of a problem, a bit of a puzzle for me. Are hundreds of thousands of people wrong every day, 7 days a week, all over this land? I'm talking about the Daily Mail and the Sunday Mail buyers. I mean, Ken Livingstone never stops having a go at the Daily Mail.
Does he?
I'm an avid Daily Mail reader. I think there's a lot of logic and wit and common sense they talk. I like their puzzles. I like not a lot of smut.
Smut? No, they really don't do smut.
Is that
no.
is that the reason then Ken doesn't like the old Mail?
Well, what's Ken said about the Daily Mail?
What hasn't he said? You've been listening
give
to
me an instance. No, I don't really pay much attention to Ken.
Well, ask one of your presenters, or the Scottish guy who did the news 20 minutes ago. Ask him what Ken said about the Mail.
Well, I'm asking you.
Well,
he's not here, John.
Well, ask your listeners.
Well, no, there's something that you must have picked up that you were offended by, obviously.
Picking out for years.
Right. So nothing specific comes to mind.
What do you mean specific?
Huh?
It just says that tonight, for instance, he said the Daily Mail hasn't stopped having a go at Mr. Blair.
Right. Is that true?
Hasn't stopped. He says you're incessant. You're having a go at.
Right. Well, is that true?
I'm talking about the chief.
Yeah, but is it true?
Well, what's having a go and what's the truth? Well, I mean, how do you, if something's the truth, are you having a go at someone? If there's a guy keep punching you in the eye out of the blue and you say he's a bully, is that having a go at him?
Well, if someone's punching you in the eye in Great Britain and you have a go at him, you ask him politely if he wouldn't mind stopping, they will arrest you, mate.
What? What?
You see, the reason why you didn't hear me was because you didn't stop talking while I was speaking.
Sorry, carry on.
No, that's all right.
Listen, I'm a bit of a fan of yours, so don't put me off of you. I'm a bit of a fan of yours.
Oh, well, I'm a fan of yours, John.
Okay.
I love your work.
Can you ask Pete, your listeners, if anyone can come up with the answer why Ken Livingstone doesn't like the Daily Mail?
It's probably because, John, the Daily Mail doesn't like Ken Livingstone. If they would write positive articles, glowing articles about how fabulous he has been for London and so on, which isn't going to happen anytime soon, then I'm sure that Ken would pick another paper that's having a go at Ian Blair.
Yeah, but they grumbled a bit, the Daily Mail, years ago when Ken was flying big IRA flags over the county hall. Was that a logical grumble?
He flew an IRA flag?
No, not flags with an S. Over County Hall for many weeks.
He flew IRA flags over County Hall?
Yes.
Does anybody remember that?
Well, ask your listeners and they'll tell you. Big IRA flags.
Okay.
Over the top of County Hall.
What's an IRA flag look like?
God knows.
There's probably dozens. You could pick them up second hand for cheap.
No, he also had some words printed out there as well. Yeah, something you learnt, isn't it? So
I've learnt no end of things today.
Listen, I like you because you've got a lot of logic, a very intelligent, astute man, and you've got a lot of wits. I like you.
All right, thanks, Dad. Cheers, mate. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
So why does Ken Livingstone hate the Daily Mail? Or, no, it was the other way around, wasn't it? Why does the Daily Mail hate Ken Livingstone?
Newspapers hate everyone.
Well, and I think that the Daily Mail, more than... No, it's not fair to say more than, but equal to, say, The Sun and, well, that's it, really. They do, like terriers, grab hold of a subject and,
don't let go.
Shake it to death. Yeah. It's like sharks feeding. They scent scent. So I couldn't think of another word. They scent the scent of blood. And they detect...
keep circling.
Yes, they detect imminent death, and they're not going to stop until they get it. If you get me the Sun today, and I'll tell you what they're... Do
you find with newspapers, though, once somebody actually has died, they're really nice about them? So, maybe that's a way out.
Yeah, up until the point at which they snuff it, yes. Oh, well, OK, here, right on the front page, perfect example, Heather McCartney. Now, they're not going to stop worrying her until she dies, are they? I mean, they're clapping their hands together, gleefully hoping that she's going to throw herself out of one of her apartments. They are.
It gives them something to write about. If there wasn't Heather,
quite right.
Who would we be? Britney, I suppose.
Because, essentially, you have to remember that newspaper writers are faced, and it's... what a job. On a daily basis, they're faced with an entire paper of blank sheets, and they have to fill it all up. Every single last square inch of it. And like columnists, but writ large, because columnists are the same, they haven't got an idea in their heads, poor little things, because they often weren't hired on the basis of their writing skills. They were hired because they're really, really famous, because they've been on television or something.
Sounded like Jade.
Something like that. And so they're not professional writers, but they have to come up with something to say. And so what they do is they read what other columnists have written.
And just change the order of the words about a bit.
And they agree with those columnists. So this week, every single columnist that is, charging by the word has written about Heather McCartney, and they've all said exactly the same thing. She's a fantasist, she's a liar, Paul McCartney is a saint, and why did he ever get involved with such a witch, is basically their theory. And I promise you that within a month, one columnist will say, well, hang on a minute, maybe she wasn't actually as bad as this, and we're just treating her poorly because she's like the new Yoko Ono. You know why they call her Yoko Ono? It's because every time she comes in a room, people say, oh,
no. That's really bad.
Because she married Paul McCartney. He's the guy that wrote Yesterday, right? You know, since then, not much, but we still revere him.
That's why he called it Yesterday.
As a god walking among us. And nobody that ever gets into bed with him is going to have an easy time.
Why? I don't get it.
I don't
Why
get
not?
it either. I have no idea. They did the same to Linda McCartney.
That's what Heather said.
And now she's died, of course. She is...
a saint.
Beatified. Exactly right. But they're going to worry this Heather McCartney to death because she had the...
Do you know why? It's because she reacts to it.
Interrupting me mid-sentence you are now.
Go on, sorry. I'll...
There's no off switch on you, is there?
It's over here to my left.
I've completely forgotten what I was talking about now. What was I saying?
Heather.
Yes.
Newspapers.
Yeah.
There's no end to it.
There will be no end to it because she had the audacity to complain, to not only marry Paul McCartney, but now get divorced from him. And so they all want their piece of flesh. And because, and it's exactly like this, they sent there's a weak one here. Well, if we can just keep harrying her, then we'll get more press. But as I was like halfway through saying, one columnist will say, hang on a minute, maybe she isn't actually that bad, really. I mean, she's only a woman, and she lost her leg in a motorbike accident, and she still looks great, and she's... she could have, with all of McCartney's money, she could have retired and done nothing for the rest of her life. She is actually doing some good with landmines and so on. And whatever you feel about the work that people do for charity, whether it's, and I suspect it's true that it's partly to make the person who's doing the charitable work feel good, because, every action is selfish. The Selfish Gene, that book that you may or may not agree with. But she could have just... collected cars, or done what other billionaire spouses do. But no, she went out and she's actually done some positive things. And one columnist will write this, and then all the other columnists who are faced with a blank sheet of paper will read it, and they'll go, oh yeah, oh all right, then I'll write that too. And then the entire industry will change on a sixpence for no reason other than they've got a blank sheet of paper in front of them and not an idea in their little heads. And it's the same writ large with newspapers. They have to come up with this rubbish every day. And there's no such thing as journalism anymore. Nobody goes out and actually hunts down a story and delves through people's rubbish and, goes and seeks out wrongdoing. It's just tittle-tattle. It's tittle-tattle and, I said tittle-tattle twice, 3 times now. And gossip and PR. PR companies having the time of their lives. All they have to do is to fax some information to a newspaper, and they'll print it verbatim. And with the rest of the acreage that they've got of newsprint to fill up, they'll just write the same thing that they wrote yesterday, and with a new picture, and put a spin on it. And so Heather is is getting it over and over and over again, because they haven't got anything else to write. It's been a slow news week. It's been boring.
LBC. We love you long time.
And I really mean that, Louise.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Louise.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I'm all right.
Oh, I'll just clear my bedroom. I'll stop that now. Right, first of all, the Red Bus tea. It's supposed to be really good for you.
Why?
Because it rehydrates you. Apparently it's better than normal tea.
It rehydrates you?
Yeah.
It's water.
That's apparently as hydrating as water.
They are selling in my gym, in the drinks dispenser at my gym.
Yeah.
Hydrating water. what's that then? I mean, what is it apart from actual water? It's water with that's been changed in some way to make it more hydrating.
Yeah.
Never heard anything so silly in my life.
Yeah, and the cola as well. That made me laugh with the Diet Coke when I saw the advert.
Yeah, well, I was saying the word cola a lot last night. It always sounds strange when you say cola, because no one ever says cola. Do they? I'd like a glass of cola, please. Nobody ever says that. They say the other C word, but you can't say that because people start tearing their hair out, because that's a product.
Yeah, exactly.
Cola with vitamins.
What?
Yeah.
I heard you talking about it last night. I was just laughing because I thought, how can that be good for you?
Well, people will drink it and say, well, that's my that's one of my 5 a day.
Oh.
It also comes with antioxidants.
Brilliant.
That's just comical, isn't it? Cola with antioxidants.
If you drink soft drinks at the end of the day and you're trying to lose weight, you're not going to lose that much weight.
No. And half of the supermarket is given over to people who are trying to lose weight but don't want to stop eating. Diet cake, crisps that are made with fat that doesn't stick to the inside of your body. Which also means that the product doesn't stick to the inside of your body, which means it just slides all the way through. Nice. Yeah, there's it's called, what is it called? Oleastrin or something or other. You heard about that?
No, I haven't actually, no.
And on the packaging, I don't know if I have that in this country, but on the packaging in America is the legend, and this is the sort of thing that would put you off eating the product, you'd think, if you read down this far. It says, and I'm sorry about this, but this is what it says on the package, may cause anal leakage.
Oh.
Isn't that horrible? Who's going to eat that?
If you want to lose weight, don't eat as much and go to the gym.
Exactly. Skip lunch if you want to lose weight. Don't be trailing the aisles for diet eclairs. This is just crazy.
It's just not going to work. And the newspapers sort of been mean to celebrities. I think it's so bad when they do that because they usually pick on them when they're going through a really, really bad time.
Yeah, in much the same way as sharks will pick on the weak one. Yes, they do that.
Yeah, they could at least be a bit supportive towards them.
Well, there was a sea change. A little while ago, everything switched because with the Hello magazine, when that first started, and they just wanted pictures of celebrities looking glamorous and fabulous, and here's a peek inside their wonderful life, and here's their gorgeous home, and so on and so forth. And then there was almost too much of that. Or they had run out of celebrities to do a glamorous thing on, and so they thought, well, where can we go now? Oh, I know. How about using all of those pictures that we previously had said no to, the ones that have celebrities with the half-closed eyes, so that it makes them look like they're drunk, or with, a boob hanging out, or here's a shot of them getting out of a taxi with no panties on, all that sort of stuff that photographers previously wouldn't have been able to sell. Now that's the only thing anybody wants.
My mother reads papers like that, and she just laughs her head off.
Yeah.
I just think it's a way of making people feel better about their own life.
It's exactly right. Well, it's just gossiping, isn't it? It's nattering over your garden fence and, oh, have you seen what she went out with the other day? And I'm like, oh, she looked awful. And it's just that. It's,
worth millions of pounds, but she doesn't go out with any pants on.
It's fishwives nattering over the fence at the back. Yeah, that's what that is. All those silly supermarket checkout magazines. Stop buying them.
Yeah, they're rubbish.
They are rubbish, yeah.
They are, yeah.
You're wasting your life. Even just flipping through them is a waste of your life.
Yeah, I do it if I'm at the hairdresser's.
See, I knew you were going to say that. You do, you know it's wrong, but you do it anyway. You can't help yourself, right?
Yeah, it's same with the magazines that have Jeremy Kyle-style stories, like, oh, my husband used to beat me up. It's like, you can't resist it. You know you shouldn't, but you can't.
Now, that sort of television it repels me a bit, but depending, and the level of repellent? Repellation? What would be the word? The level of repellentness, repellentosity, depends on who's doing the adjudication, who's the person with the microphone. And Tricia is bad enough.
Yeah.
Jerry Springer is actually good because you like Jerry, and he sort of floats above it, and he's funny, which is crucial. He's likable, I think, is the most important thing about it. Tricia is sort of likable. Jerry Springer, you'd love to go out and have a drink with Jerry Springer. There can't be a person in the country who wouldn't like to be mates with Jerry Springer. Jeremy Kyle, on the other hand, hands up who would like to go and have a drink with Jeremy Kyle.
Not me.
No one?
No.
Why have you got your hand in the air, Ros?
Because he's gorgeous.
Oh, shut.
No.
Oh, he is. He is good looking.
Oh,
The only thing that I like
Personality is a
Brilliant.
bit annoying.
he is not good looking.
he seems like the sort of person that you could talk things over with, though.
No, he isn't.
I wonder why.
He's not, Louise.
I mean, he'd probably just turn around and say, I have a daughter just like you, but, you know, he does seem like that kind
I am mystified. I'm frequently mystified by what goes over in this country. What is a success in media in this country? And I see it once and I think that's never going to swim. That'll sink like a stone. And it's a tremendous runaway success. I just can't believe it.
It's the people's misery, isn't it, usually? Because it's like, oh, my life might be rubbish, but at least it's not like that.
A cheap holiday in other people's misery, yes.
Yeah.
But some part of the programme should be likeable. But it's all repellent. The people that are on it are awful, and the person that's hosting it is awful.
Wasn't there rumours in the newspaper that they used to get them really drunk before they went out?
Well, I'm sure they do. Yes, absolutely. I mean, no normal person would come out and start bellowing at the person that they presumably came down in the car with. Because they live with each other, all these people, don't they? They're not strangers.
Well, yeah.
They know each other. So they can't possibly have a relationship where they scream and shout and hit each other. So they're goaded into doing it by the nasty, evil television company.
Yeah, yeah.
Who will say, in their defence, oh, well, we have experts backstage and we counsel and care for people. And I'm like, yeah, sure
Yeah.
you do.
Sure. And travelling by train, I'd much rather do that than flying. I hate flying. It's that constant thought of, oh no, I'm going to die.
Well, yes, there is that. Well, I did think, oh no, I'm going to die when the train really started ratcheting up the speed once it got out of the tunnel on the French side. I did think, well, we're actually going a little too fast now. Can we just slow it down a little bit? But but the thing with trains versus planes is, surprisingly, considering how much planes cost and how much they charge for landing slots and so on, planes are so much cheaper than the train.
Yeah, but you only get a little space, don't you, on the plane?
Well, really, you only get a little space on the train, and unless you want to pay for first class, then it's the same on a plane. Yeah.
I can imagine it being really relaxing, though. The best way that I've ever actually travelled was on a boat.
A boat?
Yeah, when I was going to France.
Boats are fine, unless the weather is against you.
I was going to say.
If it's a mill pond, it's great. And I've always hankered after. I mean, I don't really want to go on a cruise, because that seems like...
I've been on the cruise before. It's beautiful. It's really, really relaxing.
Isn't it an old person's thing? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't really want to be surrounded by. It's like a retirement home on the water.
It's friendly though. You get to know everybody.
Is it?
Yeah, but we were on a cruise there. We went sightseeing during the day and during the night. It was just a nice chill out of it.
Because some of the cruise adverts, I mean, you see it and you'll look at it and you look at the, here's a picture of a typical cabin and it'll be a 3,000 square foot duplex, which only costs £70,000 for 2 weeks. Where you're actually staying doesn't have windows, you know. Only Rupert Murdoch can afford to travel like that. But, it looks very snobbish, actually. It looks like, travelling...
we were worried
a travelling snob fest, because not only do you not eat all in the same place, there's like about 50 different standards of room, and each room comes with its own dining area, and so there's it's like, where am I sitting, in what room am I sitting, what level am I on, and it looks like the British class system afloat.
Where we were, it wasn't that snobby. It wasn't snobby at all, actually. It's really relaxed, apart from in the evening when you had to dress up.
Yeah, exactly, right.
But other than that, no, it was fine, and the room was nice. The room was actually quite big. I had a window. But the people that were on another cruise ship, they said it was really snobby there, so maybe we just got lucky.
Right. But I have always hankered after going to New York on the boat rather than flying there, because flying there is a living hell, because you feel like death once you get there because of the difference in time and so on. And who can afford to go first class to New York? I mean, it costs the earth. It costs the earth that you're flying over. But to get there, to take 5 days to get there, you'd feel super refreshed by the time you got there. I mean, it'd be like a holiday just to travel. That does seem attractive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll think about it, Louise. All right.
All right.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
Bye.
This is LBC I'm Nick Abbott, and it's 7:45, or as near as makes no difference. Here's Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. The A40...
Trying to tell me that this is your act?
So I'm just trying to think of the things that we talked about so far, all the important issues, what we have discussed on this programme in the last 45 minutes. The Olympics, shirt pockets, poisonous toys, Jeremy Kyle, Ian Blair, the Mail, columnists, cruises, Heather McCartney. Got any more?
Oh.
The rail system.
No,
Aren't you supposed to be taking a list?
Yeah, but I've got the same things on my list as you do.
You're lying, aren't you? you have no list. That's a blank sheet of paper you're holding up. You get to stay behind after class.
Do I have to write lines?
Well, some would be nice. What are you eating?
Philadelphia.
Just Philadelphia?
Well, no. On bread.
You could have said cream cheese.
Sorry.
We're going to have to get you the book.
Should we dump that?
We're going to have to get you the big book.
What big book?
The big book that says don't be naming any brands on the air.
Okay. It's not really, it's cream cheese.
Cream cheese. Ooh, so yummy.
That wasn't me.
And the nice man on the news said that the Christmas lights have gone on. And that our own, I forgot what the names are.
Heart people?
Yeah, our heart people, that's right. They were there. Where? Where were they? They're on the stair, right there. Where were they?
Does anybody wonder why we make such a big deal of flicking a switch to switch the Christmas lights
How
on?
did they get that gig, by the way? I thought that thing normally goes to, well, depending on where it is, of course. Where was it?
Is it Oxford Street or...
Woolwich.
Leytonstone High Road.
Yeah. Wandsworth High Street lights. They're thrilled. No, was it Oxford Street lights that went on today?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wonder how they got that gig then. That's a very prestigious switching on gig, isn't it?
I expect there's a sponsor thing happening.
Ah.
Don't they normally do Bond Street first, though?
No, I don't think Bond Street has any sort of,
one of them.
switching on ceremony. Regent Street does.
That's it, Regent Street.
No, Bond Street is a little bit more upmarket than that.
Yeah,
they
wouldn't
switch
have
it on
lights.
surreptitiously, so almost so that no one will notice. Because you don't want to interrupt people while they're spending money.
I think they do Regent Street first.
No, I don't think that's true. I think that the cheap lights on Oxford Street go on first, and it's usually somebody who's just got kicked out of a reality TV programme that switches them on.
Yep. Correct. Are the Regent Street lights normally better?
Yes, they are. Well, they spend a lot of money on the Regent Street lights because that's the Queen's own street.
Yeah,
well, I'm sure the Queen
market.
doesn't. I'm sure the Queen doesn't spend any money on it. But
It is nice to drive down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they're on.
Yeah. Unless it was that year when they were orange. The year that they were orange. That was hideous.
Oh, like lanterns?
No, the entire thing was totally orange. The colour of Christmas? Orange.
What? I don't remember that.
Of all the colours in the rainbow to
Could have
pick...
been red.
Well, yeah, but I think orange was the colour of the company that had bought the lights for us. You know, like Regent Street isn't rich enough to buy its own lights. That's ridiculous. I mean, and the Apple Store itself could have put its hand in its pocket, and I mean, the amount of money that they're going to be making on Friday. But no, they had it sponsored, and I think it was I don't think it was the orange phone people. I think it was a drink. Was it?
We can't mention names.
Yeah, one that begins with T and ends in Ango. Was it that one, or it was something like that?
Or Lou starts with Lou and ends in Kazade.
It was so over the top commercial that people were aghast, because it's almost as though they're putting adverts on the moon. You know, the sky is...
That would be the next thing.
I'm sure they've thought of it. Yeah, they're trying to work it out. But the sky is ours, really, isn't it? I mean, you can put adverts on things that you build in the road. That's fair enough, I suppose. Although I do think that there's too much of it. The sort of the visual blitz that we get whenever we walk out of our home isn't. It's not improving the beauty of this fair land, really, is it? The sort of the visual cacophony that comes at you every time you leave your house. And so they actually were painting the sky orange, and I think that people took a stand, and they properly hated it. And then the next year, it was better, but mystifying, because there were all these cartoon characters, and I had no idea.
That was last year, wasn't it? Or the year before?
I think it's been a couple of years running, and I had no idea what they were, like furry, prehistoric animals, and but they didn't really explain what it was, and so I was in. I spent the entire Christmas period in confusion because I didn't really rush
They do
out.
look nice, though. You'd think Oxford Street would have the nicer lights, though, wouldn't you?
No, it's too long, it's too thin, and...
But it's busier.
Yeah, it is busier, but for mystifying reasons. I mean, does anybody actually shop on Oxford Street?
Oh, my God, at Christmas. I used to work there at Christmas. It's dreadful.
It is
the
dreadful.
only place you can walk is in the middle of the road.
Yes.
That's the fastest
I
way
used to do that
down
to get
Oxford
to
Street.
work.
Yeah.
Actually, well, you know that. You used to work on Oxford Street too. The fastest way to navigate Oxford Street is to walk in the road.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I can't really understand why anybody would want to shop in Oxford Street
I
who
don't
isn't a
know.
tourist. I mean, it's a famous street right enough, and people always come to London, and what do? You go and see Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace.
Changing of the guards.
And Leicester Square.
And the Tower of London. And then you want to shop in Oxford Street because, well, literally because you don't know any better. It's a hideous road.
Maybe they want to go to the golf sale.
Well, I've seen the signs, but I've no idea where it is.
London.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm super, thanks for asking. It's Harriet and Jamie. I remembered that all by myself. And I should remember
Have you
that.
been wondering
Well,
for the last 10 minutes?
Well, it just occurred to me. Who are they? Harriet
They're
and Jamie.
the breakfast presenters
I
on
know who
Heart.
they are, but I couldn't remember what their names were. And that's terrible, because I used to work with Harriet. She's a very nice lady.
Woman?
Woman. Woman, girl, lady. Which would you prefer?
Lady.
Lady?
I'll take either.
Not fussy.
Would you really prefer to be called a lady? Because I wouldn't.
Ain't no lady, trust me.
I wouldn't really accept somebody calling me a gentleman, because that's what somebody would
Oh,
call
'cause
you.
you're not.
Call your granddad.
So,
Yeah, words do change, don't they, over time?
But lady, that would imply that you're someone a little more. How can I put this?
Yes, be very careful.
A little more. And as I'm pausing, I'm trying out various phrases and then putting them to the back of the drawer.
there's two heavy doors between you and Ross.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Yeah,
They will be off their hinges soon.
a little more. Well, it's a phrase.
Shall we just move on?
It's a phrase from a bygone era, isn't it? Like a lady would be in like a flapper dress from the 20s with a cocktail in her hand and
Okay. Normally kids
Coke
use the
straw
word
up her nose.
lady.
Huh?
Normally kids use that word. I've heard lots of kids say, "Mummy, look at our lady."
Lady. Well, as they're kicking her to death on.
Yeah, and filming it on their mobile
Yeah,
phones.
on her front stoop. Yeah. YouTube was pulled up again about something or other, wasn't it? Prince and
A few things.
oh,
today.
the thing in the news about the terrible another American child has gone on the rampage in school. Was it in school? I was
No,
only half
Finland.
listening. In Finland.
Yeah.
John, we were talking about Finland
Exactly
yesterday.
right. You see the
It's gotta be
power,
something to do
the
with you.
power that this show has. Warped their tiny little minds. We did.
We make the news.
And so a kid in Finland went on the rampage with a gun and then shot himself in the head but missed. It was something like that, wasn't it?
I know, apparently he's in hospital. He's alive. He did
Right.
shoot himself.
In the head.
Yeah.
But missed.
Not very good.
That seems like a lack of planning, accuracy. So there's something gone seriously wrong there. Or maybe he just
It's
wasn't
quite
serious
chilling,
about
though,
it.
with the,
yeah, it's all awful.
the video he put on YouTube.
Right, YouTube. And if you're going to commit a major crime, you'd think that the last thing you would do is to flag it up before you do it. Yeah, what an idiot.
Yeah, but obviously it didn't really matter because nobody took any notice of his advert about it, did they?
no,
Maybe they
because-
could have stopped it.
Well, exactly right. I mean, if you incarcerated every dopey-looking kid who paints his bedroom black,
there wouldn't be any kids on the street, it would be
and
great.
wanders around saying how terrible everything is and I hate it, then there wouldn't be any kids on the street. You're right. You'd be able to get
Brilliant.
onto the top deck of a bus without
could walk down Oxford Street.
without molestation. Yeah, you're quite right. But we're bound to hear more about that in the new news, which is always full of bad news. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Now what you doing?
Put him with Vaseline on the lips.
Oh, right. Well, after a little hot Philadelphia action, you follow it with... it's like pudding, isn't it?
Lots of insinuations here.
Petroleum... no, none at all. Petroleum... I love the smell of petroleum after
I don't
dinner.
like the smell of it.
It smells like...
Oh, petroleum, yes, but not Vaseline.
Right. Another product name. You just keep throwing them out like that, don't you?
I'm good, aren't I?
We're going to be taken off the air in the next 10 seconds, probably. In fact, that's a fairly accurate estimation. So back after the new news, all of it bad.
Abbott.
Okie dokie.
It's in the mode. This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott. 0845 6060 973. Warmer, he said. I thought that it was supposed to be getting colder. I thought that we had 100-mile-an-hour winds coming in. This is what I was reading yesterday. All of the reports were saying, all the computers were pointing to disaster coming our way.
Didn't you say that was at the weekend, though?
Did I?
Mm.
Oh, right.
Friday.
So we've got that to look forward to.
I think it's going to get warmer than freezing.
Really?
Yeah, so everyone will go, hey, it's warm.
And then
it'll
So let me see if I got this straight. First they'll be going, hey, and then they'll be going, right, okay. That way around.
Yeah.
It was, I can't remember what it was like today. I didn't see much of it. What was it like?
Overcast.
It was okay.
Cold.
The leaves have almost left the trees, and you can just see there's a thin cloud of colour on the trees, but you can see the branches through them. And once that colour is gone, it's
then
just
you know you're in for it.
Long line of misery until
for
they
about
all
11 months.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Until they all come back again, which is what, August, something like that. Yeah.
Well, I think whatever they say the weather's going to be like in the summer, just take it that it will be the opposite.
The very same people who, you'll remember this, in January last year said that it was going to be a record-breaking, super fantastic, extra double hot summer. Yes, there won't be a drop of water to drink. Are now telling us that it's going to be the coldest winter that any human has ever
Probably going to have a heat wave.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping for. I was watching that thing with Ian Blair in our the giant testicle or whatever, the falling stack of plates, whatever people call that hideous building, County Hall. County Hall, right?
City Hall.
Is it called City Hall?
Yeah.
Right. How they got the permission to build that awful structure, I have no idea. It's from every angle, it's hideous.
It's very nice inside.
They're absolutely right, yeah, and that was going to be what I was going to say. Fantastic inside. They have obviously spared no expense, it being our money, you know. And right down to the point, and I often bang on about chairs, but you can tell how much somebody's spent on a building just by seeing what their budget of chairs is. Every single chair in that room, that vast room with uncountable numbers of chairs, was £1,000 chair. Isn't that shocking?
Here?
1,000... Yeah, this is a commercial organisation.
How do you know that?
Huh?
How do you know?
Because I know how much chairs cost. I'm crazy that way.
I'm crazy about chairs.
But a commercial organisation can spend anything it likes on chairs. That's its business. It's between it and its shareholders, right? But a government building, you'd think, would look through a catalogue and discount the chairs that cost £1,000 because it's our money that they're throwing away. If you go into the Portcullis House, you know, the world's, per square foot, the world's most expensive office building. At the time it was. Maybe something in Dubai has exceeded that now because they take their buildings and they dip them in molten gold over there. They just don't know what to do with their money. But in Portcullis House, the overflow for the Houses of Parliament, there's a meeting room in there that is the only room in that building that gets on television. And the Prime Minister of the day will be called to account or not and just sit there and obfuscate on a chair that costs almost £1,500, and the entire room is stuffed with chairs that cost £1,500, and I know because I've been in it. Except for two. The only two chairs that are occupied by secretaries, the lowest of the low in that room. They get your $49.99 blue chair that you can get in any office catalogue. Everybody else in there sits in a £1,500 chair.
Does it really make that much of a difference?
Paid for by us. Well, if there's 100 chairs in a room, and they cost £1,500...
No, I mean, if you pay that much more for a chair, is it really that much more comfortable?
Well, no, absolutely not. No. In fact, I got one of these, one of those very chairs. I got a leather one from my previous, from one of my previous employers, and it was a disliked chair. Everybody else in the building had those, you know, £49 blue office chairs, which are ubiquitous. You see them everywhere. Except for this one chair, which was a classic. It's a Charles and Ray Eames classic. I can't remember the exact number, but it's the one that's the bent plywood, covered in leather, and it's got the steel arms. People, design students will know the one I mean. It cost about £1,500. Everybody in the building hated it. It was off in the in the corner with a cushion without a cover on it that was stained and horrible. It looked like a tramp's seat, the way they'd sort of discarded this chair. And I went up to the finance director and I said, knowing what it was, I said to him, assuming that he didn't know what it was, I said, nobody really likes this chair. Can I... It would... I actually said, it would fit with the... Well, it's true enough. It would fit with what I've got at home.
With the stains and...
Can I buy it from you? And he said, oh, yeah, all right. And I said, well, how much do you want for it? And he said, tenner. And I tried to not look excited by that, because this is a chair that cost £1,500. He was virtually paying me to take it away, and so I fished in my pocket, wanting to seal the deal right there, and I only had £5 on me.
Oh no!
So I thrust it into his hand and I said, I'll give you the rest tomorrow. I ordered a cab and hurried it out of the building before he could change his mind. So that's the best buy I've ever made.
Did you sleep that night?
Absolutely.
In the chair?
I slept in the chair, yeah.
Right. I thought maybe you wouldn't sleep, but you'd be so excited of getting your chair.
My best ever buy. Let's punch this one right off the board. It's a mobile. Hello? Hello? Okay, never let me punch anything off the board. Was he talking with a sock in his mouth? I'll leave you to go ahead and do your business. But that was the thought that I had. When given an unlimited budget, without constraints, if people are not spending their own money, if it's our money that they're spending, well, then the sky's the limit for their own comfort and convenience. And on these open days that you have in the autumn, they will throw open a lot of government buildings that the likes of you and me aren't normally allowed to venture into. They're called the Open Key Day, or the Keyhole Day, or the Look Through the Keyhole Day, or something like that. You go into government buildings, and they're all like that. The amount of money that they spend on their own, the comfort of their own bottoms, is staggering. Desks, custom inlaid with precious materials. I'm not making it up. And pictures on the walls from people you've heard of. Originals. Yeah, it's quite shocking, really. No wonder we're in such a giant mess.
Do they ever open up the buildings on the embankment? Like the MOD building?
No.
I guess not. Because those buildings look amazing.
From the outside?
Yeah.
I've become accustomed to its face, yes. It's a bit Toy Town-ish.
But if you look up right at the top of these buildings, they've got some amazing, little turrets and balconies, and I thought if I'd worked there, I'd be on a laptop with a wireless network sitting on my balcony.
Well, you do see some fantastic balconies on office buildings, and no one is ever going to use them.
No.
It's a bit of a shame, though, really.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
I've always wanted to live on the top of an office building. For two reasons. First of all, for security. Because if it's an office building, they'll pay for their own security, right?
Yeah.
And second, you can whack the stereo up as loud as you like, because after 5 o'clock, you're the only one in the building. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
And you'll never be bothered by neighbours, because it's just people downstairs clacking away like this.
But you'd never leave work.
Well, I wouldn't work there. I'd just live there.
So where would you prop your bed up?
Huh?
Where would you put your bed?
In the bedroom.
Oh, there's a house above the office.
No, it's a flat. I would take the top 2 floors of an office building,
And turn them into a house?
Yeah, an exquisite apartment.
Well, why don't you just live in the middle of the countryside?
Why don't you shut up? Here is, New Malden. Hello, Martin.
Hello there.
Martin.
How are you?
I'm alright, thanks.
I just heard you talking about the mayor's office.
Yes.
I affectionately know it as Ken's helmet.
Okay. Yeah, alright. Ken's helmet.
You won't forget that one.
I won't forget that one, no. It's a repellent image that I'll never get rid of. Thanks a lot, mate.
No worries.
Cheers, ta-da. This is LBC. It's 8:15, or as near enough for jazz. And here's Alan Joyce with the travel.
Thanks, Nick. If you're heading onto public transport...
Nick Abbott.
You're wondering what it's all about, and I can't tell you because I don't know myself.
Camberwell. Hello, Patrick.
Oh, hello. Good evening, Nick.
Patrick.
Hey, first of all, what was the building that you were mentioning, that you were saying, City Hall building, that you were saying is really ugly? Was that the Gherkin that you were talking about?
No, it's quite near the Gherkin, on the other side of the, river. Not quite as far as... Oh, it's further than the Tate. Is it further than... Yeah, it's further than the Tate, between the Tate Modern, and Tower Bridge.
Trying to think, I can't picture
on the south side of the river. It looks like Ken's helmet.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, it's about the chairs. I'm surprised, because I've been listening to you for quite a while, and I've kind of taken a break of quite a few years, actually, and I've come back to you. And I'm surprised to hear you talk quite knowledgeably about these chairs, and presumably that comes out of being in studios and sitting in there for quite a few years.
Well, no, I'm interested in architecture and design.
Ah,
you know, I ain't totally stupid.
No, that's great then, because I'm a bit of a furniture student myself, and I was just I wanted to gauge your opinion or your taste a little bit, I suppose. I mean, first of all, what were the £1,500 chairs you were talking about? It wasn't the Aeron chairs, were they?
No, I hate those chairs. Or I love them for balance. They're deeply, deeply uncomfortable. I'm sitting in one right now, as a matter of fact.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, the blood is being stopped from going down to my calves by the bar that's across the underside of my thighs.
But you've got to admit, it's quite a forward-looking design.
It looks great until you sit in it, and then it really, really sucks. Yeah. No, it's a Charles and Ray Eames. You know those. Everywhere, all offices, all fancy offices have got these chairs.
You know the one with sort of like the horizontal sections, almost kind of padded little stripes, I suppose.
They've got very uncomfortable armrests that are made of brushed steel.
Yeah, I think I know them. Right. What is the most comfortable chair that you've ever sat in?
Well, the most unexpectedly comfortable chair I've ever sat in is the Rietveld red, blue and yellow chair, or whatever it's called. You know, the thing with it looks like a Z, made of just solid wood, and famously it's coloured red, blue and yellow. You'd know, if you can't think of it off the top of your head, you know it if you saw it.
I know, but there's two famous ones, Rietveld ones, but there's the Z one, which is the one that is just like a table chair.
Right,
and
no,
then there's
not that one. The sort of recliner lounger
okay, that's
thing.
The one, yeah.
It looks like the most uncomfortable. It looks like a sculpture, and it looks like that you'd have to be made of hard plastic to be able to sit in it comfortably, but it actually sits really well.
Well, I'll tell you, the most unexpectedly comfortable one I've sat in, it was do you know the diamond-shaped wireframe one by Harry Botoya?
Yes.
That is just beautiful, especially with a thin little pillow. That's so comfy.
Oh, thin little pillow. Sounds lovely.
And also, just one more thing.
Pardon?
One other little mention.
And in closing,
the recliner, the Eames lounge chair. That is just amazing.
Well, now people will know what this one is if I say that it's the one that Fraser has. That his father's chair usurped, and he had to put it on by the window. You know that
that's the one,
it's like bent plywood with a comfy thing in it and a footstool. Yeah, that's the famous
that's
Eames,
one I would love to have. It's
Eames chair.
So gorgeous and comfortable.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can dream away, Patrick. Cheers. Ta-da.
Right.
This is LBC. Right, we only want to talk about chairs now. I'm only accepting calls about chairs for the rest of this show. In fact, for the rest of my life. You happy with that, Ross?
I'm very happy with that.
So, what's your opinion on chairs, Adrian?
Oh, they're lovely. Lovely to sit down, especially with my big fat bottle.
Yes. You're in Las Vegas.
Yeah, still.
How is it?
It's quite lovely. I haven't ventured outside yet. I'm actually in a food court in a minute, but...
in a food court?
It's still very warm. It's like dinner time here, isn't it? It's, like 20 past 12.
Oh, you mean lunch?
Yeah.
Right.
Lunch. Yeah, so I'm going to be playing catch-up with you now. Like Henry Kelly used to. I'm going for goal when I get back.
Playing catch-up?
But, I mean, I've noticed now the prices on a lot of things are similar to the UK. Yeah, it used to be a lot of difference.
Well, aren't they the same in dollars? You mean the numerical amount is the same?
Yeah, I mean, like a box of 24 or whatever, it's like $55 here.
Really? I thought that everything was half price there. I thought that was the point of America, that you can go over there and make enough money to be able to fly there first class.
No, I think, like jeans though, like branded jeans. I got some jeans from a place yesterday.
Oh, I bet you look fabulous in them.
I've not tried them on yet, actually. I was like £8 for like a, well-known brand.
Oh yeah, what, Wranglers were they?
Blimey, you're good.
Are they? Really?
Yeah.
Because I expected them to be Levi's, and I was going to go through a great big long list, and with Levi's at the end. But okay. I lose that one then. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, food's pretty cheap in Vegas. Have you ever been to the buffets? They're fantastic.
Well, what they do with the casinos is, in order to get you into the building, is they advertise on the outside, everything, as much as you can eat, 6 cents. And, margaritas are free, that sort of thing. So it's a great place to eat cheap food, cheaply.
Yeah.
But,
we lost, by the way.
How much?
I put $20.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, 'cause it's not your money, so you don't care.
Is that the extent of your losses so far? You've been in Las Vegas and you've only lost $20?
Once you've lost, you don't really want to try and go back.
Well, I know what that's like. How long have you been there?
It's a week today.
What have you been doing?
Well, we went to see a magician here called Lance Burton. And you got to say who, aren't you?
Well, I was going to, but that conversation isn't really going to go anywhere. So I just thought I'll just say nothing.
Yeah, it was quite good. I mean, it's all silly and like this direction and that, but it was enjoyable. A bit later on, we're going to go the helicopter strip flight today.
Okay, spend some more money and go on a plane trip to the Grand Canyon. And then thank me afterwards.
I've done that before, though.
Oh, well, like I said, you wouldn't want to do that again.
My mate hates flying. Yeah, but last time I went there, it was the worst trip I've ever had in my life on this little plane. It was like turbulence up and down. You really felt like you've been on a roller coaster when you got to the end. So I didn't like that.
They do have roller coasters on top of skyscrapers in Las Vegas, don't they?
They've got one on the Excalibur. And they've also got one that goes to an hotel in New York, New York.
New York. Is that actually the name of a hotel?
Yeah, New York, New York.
It's so great they named it twice. Yeah.
And there's like the Eiffel Tower. There's like everything. It's like a bit of a fairy tale land, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Disneyland for not that Disneyland is just for children, but it's Disneyland for grown-ups. It's got Disneyland. It's Disneyland with gambling and hookers, isn't it? Las Vegas.
Yeah, you're like, well, if you excuse the phrase, you get them shoved in your face when you walk down the street.
And you're much less likely to get shot in Disneyland than you are Las Vegas, I would imagine.
Well, I don't know. I've not been shot yet.
Okay, well, you keep it up, mate. And I want you to put $1 on any number. Well, pick a number. Pick a number. I'll pick a number. Number 3.
You can't put $1. It's $10 minimum.
You're kidding. Well, maybe you're hanging out in the wrong place. A $10 minimum bet on roulette.
Yeah. Well, my mate is a really lucky. And
you've only lost 20. That's 2 bets.
Yeah, I'm a born loser.
Right. Well, that's the way you want to enjoy Las Vegas, is don't gamble, because really, in truth, there's nothing enjoyable about gambling. Only the winning part is enjoyable. And if you look up and down the strip, all of the billions of pounds that they've spent on hotels, it didn't come from charity. It came from the broken dreams of everybody who's spent their wages at the tables.
Yeah, 'cause I think over here they just knock hotels down and build other ones just for the
hell of it,
don't
yeah,
they?
They do, yeah.
Because they're building stuff now. Always building stuff.
And how is the? What's the in one word or three? How's the trip so far?
It's okay.
It's okay. Right.
I've listened to your shows, but thank God for the LBC podcast service.
Right, there you go. It's an excellent podcast service, which you can access on lbc.co.uk/LBC Plus.
Orky/Dorky.
Or something like that. Okay, well, happy, whatever it is that you're doing there, Aid.
Yeah, it's the crack of doom tomorrow for the long haul back.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, win me some money by put $1 in a slot machine in my name.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. I'm really
all right.
like that.
Excellent. Thanks a lot.
Speak to you soon.
I can't wait to count my winnings, and I want all of them. By the way, there's no cut for the person who puts the $1 in. It's just you don't even have to pull a handle now. You just press a little button. I used to like pulling the handle. At least you felt like you were doing something instead of just sitting in front of a TV just pressing a button like an automaton. I don't really understand that. And when you pulled the handle, you felt as though it was the actual chance was involved because it was mechanical inside rather than you push a button and it just comes up with whatever is pre-programmed to happen. I always felt very suspicious about that. In fact, someone should look into it. In fact, next time I go to Las Vegas, I'm going to ask to see the manager and see if I can't examine his books. And the next thing I'll be examining will be the inside of a car boot lid.
London. Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
Hey, has anybody else got like a little cough, and feel a bit nasally? Do I sound a bit nasally?
A wee bit bunged up.
Yeah.
It's this building.
Is it? Because that was going to be my question. Does anybody else feel like this, or is it just me?
I come in here every day, and I come in here, and 5 minutes after I've been inside this studio, I start going...
Yeah, because I'm going...
It's the air conditioning.
As soon as the light goes off, I'm like...
The trap bird.
Yeah. So it's not just me, it's sick building syndrome.
Aye.
Right. Because all of my internal fluids seem to have congregated in the back in the middle of my head, which is why I'm feeling a bit bunged. Oh, Bub, I can't do bug exams. I've got a bunged up nose. Of course you can, Malcolm. Am I the only person in this country that remembers that advert?
No.
I say that every now and again, and people look at me like I've gone completely insane.
What was it advertising?
I'm sorry, it was some sort of... Was it? Some sort of expectorant?
Oh, tunes.
Tixie licks, or something like that.
And there was the man on the tube as well that had an elephant nose.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that one?
What, you mean on the telly, or an actual man on the tube?
On the telly, a make-believe
freak. Hello, Jessica.
Hello, Nick.
Jessica.
I was on the tube today. I haven't been on the tube for ages. I won't be doing that again.
No, isn't it awful?
Well, not for a little while anyway. It was
Thanks
awful.
a lot, Ken.
It was absolutely awful. Horrible people all pushed on together.
I know.
And people sort of elbowing you and just looking a bit...
Tutting and
suspicious.
All of that, yeah. And every time somebody sneezes on the tube that I'm on, I think, oh, blimey. Well, I can just write the next 2 weeks off in my diary.
Yeah, yeah. A little bit of the journey was on Overland, and I managed to hear a whole conversation. I know what a complete stranger's having for their dinner tonight.
Really?
Because she told this other person at the end of the line, and we all heard too.
And people don't... Because they can't see who they're talking to, people talk much louder than they do if the person was right in front of them.
Yeah.
And and without shame as well.
Exactly. I travel quite a lot, and I always make a point of turning my mobile phone off because I think it's rude not to. But obviously I'm a lot politer than some other people. Because
You certainly are.
I've heard some proper conversations on the train that I could have done without, really.
What was she going to have?
She was having chicken korma and some sort of naan bread.
Ooh, lovely.
Exactly. It didn't make me feel hungry, it made me feel quite sick.
Yeah.
So that pushed in with all those people like sardines didn't really help. But what I did see when I was in the West End today is this new sculpture in Trafalgar Square.
Ah, right, because I've seen them, I saw them took the previous one off, which, I didn't like the thought of it, but I thought that the sculpture itself of Alison Lapper, is that her name?
Yeah, that was...
I thought it was actually very good.
I liked that one.
In fact, I've liked everything they'd put on there, with the exception of, that woman who casts, images of things.
Okay, well, wait.
What's her name?
This one.
Rachel Whiteread. She just cast the plinth that it was standing on and turned it upside down and put it on top, so it was like a mirror image. Like, that's art. If that's art, so's Banksy.
This one is sort of almost indescribable.
Describe it.
Well, okay. It's sort of, I think it was like yellow and green and blue and
Yellow
red.
and green and blue and pink, orange and purple and,
It
red.
was almost a psychedelic experience. And they're kind of just glass sheets, and it's called Hotel. Model for Hotel for 2007 or something.
That was a catchy name.
Exactly, but I don't know why they don't just call it Pigeon Loft or Pigeon Hotel. Because I thought they were trying to get rid of those pigeons, so why put up a sculpture that's practically inviting them to come and live on it?
They're going to clean it regularly, aren't they, for that very reason?
Well, I would imagine every couple of hours. It just looks weird. It doesn't really fit in there. And quite a few people were looking at it in quite a few bemused ways, especially sort of tourists.
But was the sun out today?
No, it wasn't.
Because they're saying that...
The light and
when they're saying that the sun is on it, then it will be 7 shades of beautiful.
Do you know what? It made me think of IKEA. It looks like something from IKEA.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the look they're going for,
The
I'm
whole
sure.
area is quite a weird area to put something like that. You've got the lovely National Gallery and everything at the back, and they've done brilliantly with that bit.
They have.
Trafalgar Square is such a dump.
Well, I don't think that's true at all. I think since they put they pedestrianised the northern side in front of the National Gallery, I think that it's really opened up Trafalgar Square into a place that ordinary people, not just tourists, would want to go. I mean, the amount of people that you see sitting on the steps just having a little chit-chat or enjoying their sandwich or whatever it is, since they did that, is massive. Whereas before, the only people that would be in Trafalgar Square, which was essentially a traffic island before, were tramps and tourists.
Well, they've come back, I'm afraid, because they were all in there today. They really were. It looked awful. And I'll tell you something that I'm surprised about. The way that the kids sit on the lions and sort of have their photographs taken. I'm surprised that Health and Safety have not stepped in about that.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
Because one of these kids today nearly killed himself,
right.
you know? But no, it just looked grotty today. Maybe there'd been a lot of people there for the opening of this this kind of sculpture, but it looked kind of full of McDonald's bags and rucksacks.
Well, that's London for you.
It was awful, yeah. But the sculptures, I think it might be one that grows on you.
I think they had a great opportunity, by the way, to do what other more civilised countries do with their squares and put proper cafes and restaurants in there, you know, with table service and so on. And what they did do was they got a crappy cafe there. I mean, they could at least have put in, here's another brand name, well, I won't say the brand name, Food for Carrying. There you go. Translate that. They could have put that one in, you know, like a quality product, but they didn't. They put in whatever is there, and is it a cafe? Is it somewhere you would want to sit, and you don't really know what it is?
It's still in the middle of, I mean, there's still traffic coming around one side of it.
Yeah.
It's noisy, and when you think about places that Paris have got, and Italy have got, and France have got, it is letting us, I think it's letting us down a little bit. And that sculpture, in my opinion, is not going to help.
Well, I'm keen to see it because I like the idea. I saw the cartoon of it before they'd put it up, and I've liked everything that they put up there so far. I like the tree holding the book. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, but it just looked very grey today, and there was this massive splash of colour, which probably should have sort of heightened your spirits, but it just made you think, what's that?
Well, maybe when you're not in such a black mood, Jessica, then you'll like it better.
I will give it a chance,
Yeah.
but my first impressions were, should I go to IKEA this weekend? Can I face it?
And can I ask you a question about this? Because I know you travel on the tube. Did you travel on the tube before you saw it?
No, after I saw it.
After, or perhaps it was the thought of what's to come.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for the update, mate.
All right.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-da. Yes, I'm keen to have a quick peek at that because I think It was such a long time coming, then pedestrianising the north face of Trafalgar Square. And after they'd done it, you thought, how has it taken them so long to do this? You're not a fan?
Well, I go through Trafalgar Square every night on the way back from here.
Oh, really? Yeah,
so
I bet you do. Had any luck so far?
No, I've still tried. So I just go through it from a driver's point of view.
Right.
So I haven't even walked up the pedestrianised bit yet.
It's very good. I mean, I actually really enjoy it. It's a part of London that Londoners always avoided, and now now it's a destination.
Because it's just a tourist trap, but I might go and check out this hotel.
Give it a quick peek.
Yeah.
Here is Brentwood. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, sir.
Jerry.
I got a little complaint.
Yes.
Yesterday, you told Louis, as soon as you took it over at 7 o'clock, and she started phoning it up, I can't stand there laughing when she talks. She's so stupid, that woman. Get rid of her, can you? And today she was talking again to you, and you said to her yesterday, what's the matter? You keep phoning every program.
What's the matter for you, eh?
What's the matter for you? Get rid of her. She's got so stupid laugh. I just can't stand it.
Well, you don't have an accent yourself, Jerry.
I do. I got a Polish accent.
You fit right in. All right, no complaints. Hey, Jerry.
Stop whining.
Well, don't take any complaints about callers to other callers, otherwise it'll just become a hideous fist fight. And whatever happened to peace, love and understanding, by the way?
Man.
That's a direct question to you, Ros.
It's still there.
No, it isn't still there. There is no peace, love and understanding in the world anymore. Everybody hates everybody else. And that's
not true. Where do you come from?
It is actually true. Everybody hates everybody else.
It's actually true.
We've always been like that, though.
Yeah, it's the human condition.
Yeah,
right from when we were
cavemen.
Running around in small tribes. Well, not even tribes, little gangs. Then the gang living in one cave hated the gang living in the other, because you might go and nick their Ellen
Stone.
or whatever it is that you happen to be milking at the time.
Look at animals. They all hate each other. They will hang around in their own gangs and then fight each other all the time.
Where did this conversation come from?
I don't know.
What does that matter?
Just try and put things into context in my mind.
Yeah, what's that got to do with anything? Where did it come from? Who are you asking me that? I hate you! But it's actually true. It's kind of depressing as well. And they just invented a mouse that goes on forever. And have you seen the video of the mouse that goes on forever?
No.
They've genetically engineered a mouse that can now run like it's doing the Tour de France. You know, all those guys that run that do the Tour de France that are hopped up on chemicals that are.
Can't say that.
They are that are invisible to the naked eye. Not all of them, of course, but a lot of them, and they're all clamouring to see if they can get hold of whatever it is that they've tweaked inside this mouse to make it run forever. Because they had a video of two mice, one which was a normal mouse and one which is the tweaked one, and the normal mouse gave up running on this treadmill. Presumably there was a bit of food or sugary water or something at the end of this treadmill, and it gave up after about 20 minutes.
That's just really cruel to do that.
It's only a mouse.
So?
And the super tweaked mouse, it went on for about 4 hours. It just did not stop at all.
So it's like a Duracell mouse.
It ate twice as much as ordinary mice and lived much longer, like much longer. It was more muscly. In fact, everything that we're striving for, it had.
You know what will happen, though? We'll all start taking it, and then 10 years' time, they'll tell us that it gives you cancer.
Well, yes, unless you're a mouse. But the one side effect that it did have that might make people a little concerned about taking it is that it made us more. It made the mouse more aggressive. And the scientist concerned said, the last thing we need is more aggressive human beings. See, you finished the thing, but that wasn't what I was going to say. You are out of control. You just can't stop yourself, can you? Good grief. Take that coffee away from that woman.
Did it have an ear on its back as well? Because that's the best mouse ever, surely.
Poor little thing. It's 8:45. Here's Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. The A13 looks busy.
Well, let's get back to it.
Topics that we've covered so far. Here's what I've got. You add if I miss anything out.
Okay.
The Olympics, shirt pockets. Poisonous Toys, Jeremy Kyle, Ian Blair, The Mail, columnists, cruises, Heather McCartney, the rail system, Oxford Street, Christmas lights, Trafalgar Square, Ken Livingstone, and chairs.
City Hall.
City Hall.
Vaseline. And, did you mention expensive chairs? You did, didn't you?
Chairs, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're the only ones I've got on my list.
Right, well that covers everything, I think. Isn't that right, Charlotte?
Hello. I was going to say Ian, sorry. Oops.
Hey, Charlotte.
Sorry. I wanted to... You were talking about Alex's car.
Yesterday,
night.
yeah.
Yesterday. I wanted to go and see the London to Brighton run. I don't know if I heard it on the radio. I don't know if it's last weekend or I missed it. It was this weekend.
You know anything about that, Alex?
The cars.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Oh, you don't know anything? Like, when is it?
No.
Right.
I don't know any details, really.
I thought it might have been last weekend. I thought I probably missed it.
There's not much to see there, though, really, is there? It's just cars.
Yeah, but I like those old cars. And it's lovely to drive one of them through London.
No, I don't think it would be lovely to... I like seeing them. That's, you know, every now and again you'll see some old buffer in one of those things, and you think...
Yeah.
Oh, that looks great, but the reality of it would be some way short of that, I think.
Yeah, aren't they nice, though? Aren't they?
They look nice, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when cars used to have personality. Well, cars had personality right up until... Well, when was... What era is your car, Alex?
Which one?
Well, the giant chrome boat.
70.
The 70s, yeah. Until the 70s, cars had character. I think once the 80s came, they smoothed them out. Now all cars look exactly the same to a squinted eye, like a lozenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, what era were they, the London to Brighton cars? Were they the 30s? Were they the 30s, 20s, 30s?
Something of that order, yeah. Turn of the century onwards.
As a classic car owner, I think I'm supposed to start partaking in all this kind of business.
Yeah. Well, you had to go to
other people.
Meetings, that's right. Meetings in fields.
Yeah. Kenneth Moore was in the film, wasn't he? Genevieve? Kenneth Moore.
Genevieve. Oh, I don't know, it sounds like a chick flick. What was that about?
Yeah, he did a London to Brighton run, didn't he, in the film?
I have no idea. Kenneth Moore. Oh, I know Kenneth Moore. He was Douglas Bardo, right?
Yes.
And Reach for the Sky.
Yeah.
Made you proud to be British.
Yes, but all these older things are nice, like the steam trains.
Steam trains. Well, I was discussing steam trains a little while ago, and I went on one of the famous lines in Yorkshire. In fact, I think it's the very same line that they use in the Harry Potter films.
Oh, right.
And once you look at the train as you're on the platform, and it's fantastic. It's, you know, huffing and wheezing and puffing away. And then you get into the carriage, and it's just like sitting in an old carriage, which I remember from my youth. It's more or less the same. But once you're off, you're just in a train. You might as well just be in any train, really, because there goes the scenery on the outside. And so to get an idea of being in a choo-choo train, as I said, you stick your head out the window and you look towards the front, not realising what people of the era knew through experience, is that you don't look forward in a choo-choo train because you just got this cloud of coal particles that gum up your eyes like you'd virtually need a sink plunger to get them working again.
I think I'm living in the wrong era, because I like all the older things, like the older cars and the older trains.
Right.
I don't like all the new things. All the cars that we get today.
Right, okay. And does that also extend to your taste in men?
Oh, right. What, the older men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because they're polite and gentlemanly.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, like the St Pancras, you know, why does everything have to be so quick? Why do we have to be fast all the time, go everywhere so quick?
You know, that's not as crazy as it sounds, Charlotte. Why does everything have to be so quick? You know, in the 70s...
Why do we have to be rushing around and be quick all the time?
People were looking forward to all of these so-called labour-saving devices. Like, can you remember the last time that you washed your clothes by hand, for instance? You stick it in a washing machine, and then you pull it out and you put it in a dryer, and it's all done by electricity. Dishwashing, similar.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Most people have not most people, but a lot of people have dishwashers. Then they wouldn't put their hands in fairy washing up liquid. Other liquids are available. But none of these things have actually saved us any time, because we're still rushing our face off. Computers, there's another perfect example. And we were looking forward to the great new age of communications technology in the 70s and 80s, thinking that the computers are going to be taking over to such an extent that we won't have anything to do anymore. I can actually remember people in the media having this conversation that we'll be having 3-day weeks, not because we are forced to, but just because you go to the office and there won't be anything to do. But all of these labour-saving devices seem to make us work more, not less.
No, well, you seem to be rushing around every day and don't get time to think.
Yeah, quite.
No, but I like to do in the olden days, like, you know, when they used to have the horses and the ponies.
And carriages, yeah.
Carriages.
And there was actual space for people to wander around in. You know, you see pictures of London, as was, and the amount of distance between people on the pavements and between the cars is gigantic. You could literally drive buses through the gaps between people on Oxford Street in the 50s.
I wonder what it's going to be like in, say, 100 years' time.
We'll happily
won't know,
we'll happily not be around to find out, unless of course we can get our hands on whatever they did to that mouse. Anyway, Charlotte, I've got to go. Take this next 60 seconds or so to have yourself a nice think. Okay.
Okay.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-da. 8:55. This is LBC.
London's biggest comedy. I enjoy working with people.
Well, when I say enjoy, here is East Grinstead. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Nick.
Peter.
Something to Ian. Has he gone to Japan?
No, Ian has left the station.
I need that station. Has he gone to Japan?
I don't know where he's gone.
Oh, you don't? All right. I was just thinking about classic cars and about the London to Brighton run.
Yeah.
It is very treacherous to do that run. I've got a car which is too old for it. It's 1936.
It's too old for it?
Yeah, 1936 is too old for the London to Brighton run, but I did join in the festivities of it a few years ago.
Well, there's an age limit?
Oh, yes.
Well, what... is it worth exploring?
1920, 1925.
Well, so it's too young, you mean?
My car's too old. Mine's 1936.
So the cars have to be between 1920 and 1925?
No, the cars normally start about 1890, 1900 to about 1920.
Right, so your car is too young?
Yes.
But you said it's too old.
Oh, yes, too young, sorry.
All right, well, now we've got that nailed down.
No, got that sorted.
Let's proceed. Yes, go on.
And when you're driving a car like that, even with the older cars, it's even worse. You've got to double the clutch every time you change gear.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means.
Well, it means that you don't have synchromesh gears, like in an ordinary manual car.
Oh, well, now it's become clear, hasn't it, Ross?
What you've got to do is that when you change from first to second, you put your clutch down twice. First and clutch down to neutral, then back up again, then back into gear.
Right, so not automatics then, you say?
No. Not automatic. If you do that, you crunch all the gears up.
Right.
And you've got to get the speed right at the same time. So you've got to get the right speed and the right gears, otherwise you'll have a load of crunching noises.
That's right, you have to rev the engine up to the speed at which the gear wheel is turning in what you... Okay, that just sounds far too How did they ever work?
And I drove the car up from Sussex to London, and then back down to Brighton, and back again to Sussex. And that was a complete nightmare.
A good workout, though.
Good workout, but very tiring on the feet.
And the face, I would think. I mean, all that travelling out in the open air.
The only thing that was nice was the pubs.
The pubs?
On the way down, yes.
I don't think that driving and pubs sit very well together. Do they?
In moderation, they do, yeah.
Ah, right, moderation, right. Okay. Well, thanks for being moderate.
So, you know, it was... but that was quite an experience to do that.
What happens if they break down? What happens if the cars break down? I mean, you can't really call out the AA, can you?
No, you've got the RAC on standby, because it's run by the RAC.
And they would know how to fix an old car like that?
No, they'd probably tow it back.
Right.
They wouldn't fix it, they'd tow it.
Yeah, okay.
Because they start off from the RAC club, you see.
And you'd arrive back in ignominy.
Right.
Thanks a lot, Peter.
Okay.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da.
Bye then.
This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott. The phone number's 0845 60 60 973. going away for... I'm sure there's a smidgen of good news in there somewhere.
Abbott.
Well, let's get back to it.
Maybe that's the reason that Ken Livingstone speaks very much like that, is because he spends a lot of time in this building.
I just want to get up. That music's on.
Oh, what, and do the,
Hang on, my headphones are broken.
Oh, no.
There we go. Oh, that's better.
Oh, I'm tremendously relieved. Yeah. You had me worried there for a moment.
Is there any more of that music?
There is, but I've edited it rather short. Maybe I'll make it a little longer.
I was enjoying that.
Yeah, it is very good, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It makes you want to do the meringue. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Is it a Scottish whiskey or something? Single malt?
That's Glen meringue.
Ah, okay.
Alfred.
Hello.
Hello, Alfred.
So I've never been to your building, but I'm a bit croaky. I sound a bit like Barry White at the moment, so I'm sorry about that. Hope it's...
You sound fantastic.
I'm still not going to agree with you about Trafalgar Square.
You don't like it?
Well, no. I mean, honestly, I think I'll be fair at it. What with the traffic?
Oh, no.
Even
come on.
I mean, let me tell you, the last time I went there, it's up the town quite often, not so much lately, but I went... This is one evening, okay?
Up the West End you go?
Well, I'm walking up from Charing Cross. I get to St Martin's in the Fields, which has been
refurbished,
covered in boards and scaffolding since about the Reformation.
That's right, yes.
You know, and they've just managed to open the Crypt Cafe, so that was all right. So I went down there.
Well, that's the most important part, of course.
Exactly.
The cafe.
Yeah, it was for me at the time. My tongue was hanging out so I could slaughter a cup of tea, so I got that. So I walked, and I could hear this music, so I walked up to the square. Let me set the scene, people don't go up there very often. You've got the fountains now, which have got plastic no entry signs sticking up out of the water.
That is ridiculous, yes.
So
but that's just those health and safety nuts.
Yeah, you imagine the fountains at Trevi in Italy, or the water gardens of the Alhambra, with, at 96, I say, the mayor of Granada has decreed that you should not, so...
Well, why don't they just board it over and put cones around?
No, put some, I don't know, anyway.
Remove it all for safety reasons.
Then there in the middle of the school is a huge stage with scaffolding and everything, supporting a stage, plus a vast screen.
Yeah.
There was an indifferent band playing with some pseudo hip-hop singer prancing about, with it being on the...
When was this?
Oh, several weeks ago.
I saw something like that myself. It looked like it looked like a tribute band.
God knows what it was.
Or like karaoke or something.
And coming out on the stage was a huge sort of catwalk for this character to prance about among the adoring crowd.
But it looked like just members of the public were standing up there.
It's ridiculous. Then you turn your back on that to look at the front of the National Gallery.
Yeah.
You couldn't see it because the whole thing was lined by these cheap fiberglass booths with bored security guards standing there, some old fencing, and inside all these booths were like people in the late teens and others who were old enough to know better, going from console to console, trying out computer games. Try before you buy computer games.
Huh.
And I thought, my God, I felt embarrassed for the whole thing. I thought, imagine somebody travelling halfway across. Hey, let's go to Trafalgar Square to see Lord Nelson. My God, honestly, Nick, I really felt embarrassed and ashamed of it all.
Well, now you mention that stage. I did because I go to Trafalgar Square area quite a lot because I play
rock and roll
at another place, and I saw them do this, and I stood there with my mouth open. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. It looked like the world's most expensive karaoke setup.
You got it, yeah.
And they were just playing music that they sort of vaguely recognised as, it was like sort of boy band or girl band type music.
A bit of everything you never really wanted to hear.
But the band wasn't there. It was just members of the public just prancing around and pretending to be singers. I just didn't get it. And it wasn't as though they'd breached the barriers and had taken over. It seemed to be that was the reason it was there.
Well, when I was there was a bit of a sort of a band on the stage, but I don't think they were much better than the people you saw, really.
Right.
The members of the public. I think I'd have preferred the members of the public to this band.
Well, maybe we were looking at the same thing, because maybe they were a band, but they just didn't seem to be making much of an effort. Nor were they playing live, either.
They're just members of the public that got up and found the instruments. Oh, I haven't heard this. I always wanted to pick up a guitar.
But I couldn't figure out what was going on.
No, well, I couldn't. But then turning around all these, these other characters using it as kind of a platform to sell video games, and you literally, Nick, you couldn't see the front of the National Gallery.
Right. Well, that's not right.
It's not.
A carbuncle on an old loved face, whatever the phrase was. Which is, by the way, the first time anybody used the word carbuncle in public.
Was it?
I think so, yeah. But thanks for pointing that out, Alfred.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so carbuncles, we'll write that one down. We need an accurate record of everything we've spoken about. Let me see what this tea's like. Still no sugar in the building.
Not that I've found.
But there's nothing to tea without sugar, is there, really? I mean, I don't take... Oh, God, that's hot. Listen to me. No, it's hot, it's got no sugar.
Stop whining.
It's pathetic.
I could have tried to steal some from downstairs, but I'm always scared I'm going to get caught. I go down there.
Go where?
Downstairs. I can't say where, I get into trouble.
What, sugar?
Yeah.
I mean, you go next door to your neighbour and ask to borrow some sugar.
I look around to make sure nobody's there.
Where?
You need the theme tune to... What's it called? Do, 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 do. Don't look at me like that.
Oh, God, you're one of these people that go into a record store and you ask, have you got the one that goes...
There are secret places in this building to find milk and sugar.
Really?
Things like that.
Where?
But you feel naughty going there.
Secret places, eh?
Well, I've got my secret place, but I don't feel guilty. I feel scared.
Aren't we all pulling together as a team here?
No.
Aren't we all on the? Aren't we all rowing in the same direction?
Apparently.
Not when it comes to milk and sugar.
Right. Well, milk we've got no end of, right?
No,
it's on the verge of running out.
Oh, really?
We have actually been rationing because I was asked one weekend how much milk this floor would need by the person who rations out the milk.
Right.
And I said, about that much when he held up a certain amount of bottles. So it's my fault if there's not enough milk at the weekends, basically.
Anybody asks you how much you need for anything, always tell them twice as much as you actually need.
I know. I learned my lesson there.
You stupid boy. Here is Bermondsey. Hello, Peter.
Good evening, Nick. Yeah,
Peter.
you just had a lady on about the vet run, the cars. Well, it was on Sunday, and it's generally the first Sunday in November. You have the vet motorcycles that go from Epsom on the march, but generally you can call them sad individuals and anoraks, but it's quite a good day out, particularly if you've got your own wheels, because although they're old cars, you get a lot of posers there with their own cars that may be 40, 50-year-old. Then you get some old buses, and you get some of the colleges and universities, they go down there with all their regalia on, and it's quite a nice day, actually.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say that it was a sad thing to do at all. It does seem like quite a nice day, and it gives you a reason to get the thing out, because presumably they're very un-user-friendly.
Yes,
and so
absolutely.
you would just have it in the garage all the time, right?
Yeah, and the good thing about it, Nick, is the fact that now you've got the fast road right the way down to Brighton. They've took a new route. It goes through the hills and some of the real beautiful little towns in Sussex, and it's a real pleasure to go. The wife and I generally follow it down. Some Sundays, the traffic is really heavy, like the pervs like myself who look at them. But you get Harley Davidson clubs, and you get certain clubs of sports cars. And if anybody, I mean, obviously it's next year now, but if anybody is just remotely interested, it's good to get up early in the morning and go as far as you can down to Brighton. It really is worthwhile. If you're into wheels,
it's a great day.
But my one question about this is, aren't they doing this at the wrong time of year? Because those cars are all open air, right?
Yeah.
And they will break down every 3 yards, and you're doing it in November. Wouldn't it be better to do it in August?
We heard the reason for it was the fact that if they did it in the summertime, the traffic would just be horrendous. So they leave it right at the end of the year, and, you know, Brighton's very popular anyway.
And much less likely to overheat, I suppose.
Absolutely, because they do have some hills to contend with. But as I say, if you know anybody who's just remotely interested, I recommend it. It's a great day.
All right. Thanks a lot, Peter.
Okay, Nick.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Wonder how many, I should have asked him while he was still here, wonder how many insects he's eaten on the way down there. You'd think there would be just like a basket full of them. You could be able, you'd fill up a bucket with the amount of insects you pull out of your teeth. Not a pleasant thought. No. It's 9:15. Here's Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. Still a few problems on.
Do you like me?
Meryl Streep, Robert Redford and Tom Cruise. That that almost seems too much star quality in one film, doesn't it? That's enough for 3.
Usually those films where there's...
Oops.
That's gone floppy.
Wasn't me. Usually those films where there's too many big stars and don't work, do they? Because it's like they're banging heads. Like Ocean's 11 and stuff.
You don't know who to watch next.
Ocean's 11 was rubbish.
Yeah, well there's...
But the original was rubbish as well, though. I mean, they were working with poor material when they...
But, I don't know, even when they had... What was that?
Robert Altman does, used to do sort of ensemble pieces where he'd get a giant list of famous people, and that would work really well. And I've heard good things about this new one, Meryl Streep and Robert Redford and Tom Cruise herself. I saw Tom Cruise in the flesh. What's the film? Are you listening to this station? I saw Tom Cruise himself in the flesh the other day. You know, the other place where I play...
Rock and roll!
He was doing the glad handing bit outside, where he stands for 3 hours and talks to all of these people whenever he opens a new film.
Mm-hmm.
How he can be bothered to do that. I mean, I know that he makes £100 million for doing 6 weeks' work, or whatever it is. Some fantastic, ridiculous
He does
amount of
look
money.
bored when he does those things, though.
I don't think he did at all. No, he's an actor, isn't he? And he's doing his job. He doesn't look bored at all. Why would you say that?
He's refused to do them sometimes. In the past, he has. People have waited for hours for him and he just didn't turn up.
Maybe he's just a little bit insecure. He needs some love.
No, I think that what he's doing is he's repaying the people who've given him, I think more accurately, it's $25 million, isn't it, for 6 months' work. So he's repaying the company that's given him that by giving them the biggest publicity boost to a film opening that anybody could ever have. He stands there for 3 hours and talks to absolutely everyone, and always gets on the news for doing it. Thereby guaranteeing, a huge splash not only on the radio but on television and the papers, and which wouldn't have been the case had he, as you said, Ros, just turned up and sidled in the rear entrance.
I don't know. I mean, Tom Cruise turning up for a premiere is going to make the news either way.
It does.
Whether he shakes,
It does, though.
Shakes hands for 3 hours or 3 minutes.
Whether he does or not.
Yeah.
No, I completely disagree. It's the nature of his. What he says now is, what they say now is doing a Tom Cruise. Whereas previously, people would get out of their chauffeur-driven limousine and they'd wander up the carpet and they'd wave at a phalanx of photographers and the flash bulbs would go off like it's the end of the world. And then they'd just go straight in and they wouldn't mix with the hoi polloi, people like us. But he's the person that really changed all that. I mean, as near as you got before was the red carpet at the Oscars. But that was all very controlled. And the only... as close as the public got was in the stands at the back, screaming, "I love you, Tom!"
I think he's gone a bit over the top, I think, with this kind of 3-hour thing.
Well, he's almost painted himself into a corner now. Now he has to do this.
Just be expected.
Yeah, but it's only twice a year, if that, and he does get $25 million to do it.
Not bad work if you can get it.
No, exactly. For 3 hours of your life, it's not that bad, is it?
It's almost what we get paid here.
Just being asked the same stupid question over and over and over again.
What's that?
Well, whatever the stupid question is. How's the baby? Or what's the haircut for? And
how do I join the Church of Scientology?
Yeah, exactly.
How can I become
do you have a leaflet?
New Malden. Hello, Stuart.
Hello, Nick.
Stuart.
Small change for you, and it's 25 million, I thought.
I wouldn't even get into bed for that kind of money.
I heard you would, but never mind. Nick, this London to Brighton, the reason it's held in November It's to celebrate the cancelling of the red flag where a bloke had to walk in the front of the vehicle.
Is that right?
And the law was passed in November. So they always do it on the first Sunday in November.
Huh.
And no vehicles older than 1905 can take part in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've learnt no end of things on this show this afternoon. It's this afternoon, evening, whatever it is we're at. It's almost like an education, isn't it?
No.
No, not really, no. But that's the reason why.
Yep.
In what year was it repealed?
It was actually slightly before 1905.
Right.
But the RAC, when it was formed, decided to celebrate it. And
by going crazy.
Because it was repealed in November, that's why it's always done in the first Sunday in November.
Right, and the red flag rule, of course, was when a man had to walk in front of a car with a red flag to alert people. It was early health and safety.
That's right.
And
but
motor
even
vehicle.
then, no car was allowed to do more than 12 miles an hour.
Well, mate, these days no car is allowed to do more than 12 miles an hour.
Actually, you can't do that in London,
well,
so that'd be the ideal vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. So they repealed the law, and the RAC celebrated by belting hell for leather to the coast.
Yeah, well, it's not a race. The object is to finish.
Yeah, right.
Which not many of them do. I've stood for many I haven't done it for a few years, but the number of them that break down.
It's like an amateur marathon, isn't it?
And they're all wrapped up in, like, the old-fashioned flying gear with the leather helmets on and...
Well, for very good reason.
And all that sort of thing.
It's freezing out there.
It's quite a good event to go to, you know, especially if you've got young kids and...
Well, I would like to... as long as that double declutching thing sort of put me off a bit.
It's worse than that. Some of them, they're like... Some of them are so old, they look like they've... just like a bicycle with an engine and a basket, and you sit in front like in a delivery basket.
I've seen those, yeah. And you think that it's the only outing of the year that they actually get these things.
Yeah.
The rest of the year they're leaking oil in someone's garage.
Of an older vintage before the Second World War, like joining in and all that.
Yeah.
I saw a beautiful Bentley, you know, like the original James Bond drove in the original books. And that is just absolutely stunning, you know, about 8-litre engine.
That's right, because James Bond didn't drive an Aston in the books, is that right?
No, he always had a Bentley before pre-war Bentley.
Because, you know, if you are an undercover agent, you always want to arrive surreptitiously.
You wouldn't recognise him as an undercover agent, really.
Well, I suppose not.
No. I mean, it's so over the top, perhaps they thought nobody would dare to drive that.
Good point, yeah. All right, thanks, Stuart.
Can I just say, it's really great to have you on full-time.
That's very nice of you. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Ta-da. Right, so far, the London to Brighton ride, Carbuncles, Trafalgar Square, Ken Livingstone, chairs, City Hall, Vaseline, the speed of modern life, the Olympics, shirt pockets, Poisonous Toys, Jeremy Kyle, Ian Blair, the Mail, columnists, cruises, Heather McCartney, the rail system, Oxford Street, and Christmas lights.
Steam train, we did that. Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Come on, that was just now. And the red carpet. Write that down.
Red carpet.
I've got a very long list here.
So have I just read it out. Like I said, are you listening to this show? What kind of a relationship do you have with your hairdresser?
None.
Really?
It's just platonic.
I don't mean a sexual relationship. I mean, how long have you been going to the same person?
Quite a few years.
About a year.
Really? Because I've had the same man cut my hair for 20... It could be 25 years.
Wow.
That is shocking, isn't it?
Does he give you discounts?
And a little bit, yeah. And I've just switched.
Oh. To somebody else in the same hairdresser? Because that's always dangerous.
No.
I thought your hair looked different.
Someone
I didn't want to say anything.
Someone completely different.
Why?
Well, the actual reason that I switched first was I was going on holiday for 2 weeks, and he had been on holiday for 2 weeks, and he was out at the time, and I really needed my hair cut because I have very sort of thick hair. And I just looked like a teddy bear after a while, and I was going somewhere hot, Valencia, and so I needed it cut, and so for the first time in, as I say, about 24 years, I had to go to somebody else, and so I looked it up on the internet, and coincidentally, I sat in the chair and I told the guy what I did, and he said, "Oh, well, do you know Ian Lee then? I cut his hair."
That's quite funny.
How weird is that?
So are you going to carry on going to the new hairdresser?
Well, I've just been there again.
That's not very nice.
I think I've made a personal life change. You know, some people of my age...
Hairdresser change.
Well, yeah, but it's Yeah, I think it's an important thing, because they're invading your personal space more than anyone who doesn't have a medical qualification.
There is something about hairdressers. You build up quite a relationship with them, because you're sitting there. Well, for women, you could be sitting there for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah,
and
easily.
you talk to them.
Well, that's right. You chit-chat about holidays.
And you tell them things you wouldn't normally tell other people.
Yes. And after a while, they build up this bank of knowledge about you.
No, after a while, you realise you're just talking to yourself, because they've switched off.
Well, they do. I mean, it must be worse than being a talk show host, because people just keep like, you're stuck there until you've finished, and they're just gabbing on and about this, about the minutiae of their lives that you're not remotely interested in. But I do actually feel guilty.
I would, after 25 years, and you've suddenly gone somewhere else, and you haven't told your old hairdresser.
Well, I don't really want to have that conversation, because it would be very uncomfortable.
I wouldn't go back to him, because there's no telling what he'd do to your hair.
I can't really go back now.
No, because he'd probably dye your hair pink or something.
Your hair's been soiled by another...
Well, yeah, he'd notice. Yeah, he'd notice first, even if he didn't remember that I hadn't gone there in a while, he'd notice that it was somebody else.
Yeah. It's like...
Because obviously he'd expect you to walk in with long hair.
Well, they do cut it in a different... I mean, obviously, the guy who's been doing it for this long, I've only ever seen someone cut hair one way. And suddenly they're doing all sorts of different things, and then he would recognise that it was different. So I can't go back there.
I'm not sure the Mohican suits you.
I'm not sure that I'd go back there, but I do feel quite bad about it. But some people of my age would go out and buy a Porsche, or, date their secretary, or whatever it is. And I can, I'll take this as the first hint of, what do they call it?
Midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis, yeah. That I've changed the bloke who does my hair.
It'll be a convertible next. There's no going back.
Well, my car does leak rain. Does that count?
Yeah, DIY convertible.
Yeah. So I just wondered if I'm alone in this, or this is common, that people build up such a relationship with their hairdresser that they almost feel stuck with that person for the rest of their lives, or feel guilty.
LBC.
Wimbledon. Hello, Spencer.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, thanks.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was just finished work. I'm just driving home from work. I'm a hairdresser. I've got a salon in Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And I just heard you talking about clients, about people being loyal.
Yes.
I've had clients I've had for like 7, 8, 9 years.
Right.
People come every 4 weeks. Sometimes they see you more than they see their own family.
Well, quite, yes.
Or their own friends.
Now, but I've been loyal to this guy, out of habit more than anything else. I just feel comfortable having having the same person cut your hair, because you don't have to tell them what you want. They just, and you feel confident in their abilities. You just sit there and they do whatever they like. But I've been going to the same guy for 24 years.
Well, you're comfortable with them. I mean, if you have to go to someone else, you've got to explain exactly what you want done, and you've got to get shampooed by someone different, and you've got to get styled by someone different, and it's all, is it a barber you go to, or is it a salon?
It's a salon.
Salon. Yeah, I mean...
Hey, I'm hip and trendy.
Yeah, well, people I've been doing for years, literally just come in and they talk about their family and their friends.
And would you feel upset if they just suddenly didn't come anymore?
Well, yeah, but I sent them a text. We sent them, in the shop. If we haven't seen someone for a couple of months, we sent them a text saying, we miss you, we haven't seen you in ages, come back.
But that's just a business thing, though, isn't it? I mean, you're not actually having a relationship with this person,
well,
and they don't call you for any other reason than business.
You say that. I mean, I've his 30th birthday parties. They've invited you as a guest, been to weddings as well.
Right, okay, well, we don't have that relationship, me and my hairdresser. I mean, I think once in 25 years I've been to his, flat. But, no, I just, see, because part of me is thinking, well, of course you shouldn't feel guilty about it, because it's just business.
Well, it is business, but at the end of the day, you got, yeah?
Well, we're missing, like, every other word you say, I'm afraid. Either, I would invest in a new phone, perhaps. But thanks a lot, Spencer. The reception's just not that good where you are. Now, come on, back me up here. I shouldn't feel guilty about this, should I?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, I think, because he's provided the service for that long, and he's, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, well, as long as you're paying attention,
I've got the same thing that you had yesterday. My brain just stopped working halfway through a sentence.
I think that so far this week, I've only actually been here mentally today. The first 2 days, I was away. I don't know where I was. Like, I was still on holiday, I think.
I don't know. I think maybe you should go back to him.
But, see, now I've changed. I don't want to. I feel that this is a point of change in my life, and I want to actually sort of, do something different, because my life is such a comfortable rut. It really is.
So the change you made was with your hairdresser?
Well, so far, yeah. But that was just out of necessity. I needed my haircut before I went on holiday. He was on holiday, so I had to go to someone new. And I went to this place and thought, oh, well, this is quite groovy.
I wouldn't walk past your old hairdresser now.
Well,
I'd avoid it.
I have no reason to ever go there into that part of town, because it's it's not local or anything.
I think I'd feel guilty though. I've just grown my hair out a little bit, and I feel guilty that I haven't been, just because I haven't been like 2 weeks past when I normally go.
Right.
I used to feel guilty when I would call up the hairdresser and I'd forget the name of my hairdresser. So I'd just say, well, can I book an appointment with anyone? And then I'd get there and the hairdresser that normally cuts my hair would see me having my hair cut with someone else.
Yeah.
And then the same would happen each time I call up. I used to feel really guilty about that.
But, yes. But I don't think that I should, and neither do I really want this conversation, because how would the conversation go? I'm sorry, I'm going somewhere else now. It's nothing to do with you or anything else. I just feel like after all this time,
I just want to change.
I just want to change for no other reason than I just want to change.
Don't call me, I'll call you.
We can still be friends.
But I'm shying away from having that conversation because it would just be embarrassing, right?
I wouldn't have it.
Am I being stupid?
No. I think everyone would feel guilty in that situation.
But be honest, I look, and don't lie to me, I look fantastic now, don't I?
Like a model.
Here is Blackheath. Hello, Nigel.
Hello.
Nigel.
The customer's always right. If you feel like a change, you have a change.
Right. Well, that's the way I feel about it. But I because he's invading your space, more so than anyone other than your dentist or your doctor, you do feel that there is some sort of connection there.
Yes.
I mean, if it was the sandwich shop, for instance, then I wouldn't feel so bad.
No, I can see your point. I've been going to the same girl now for 15 years, give and take the odd child she's had. And I felt awkward when other people were doing it at the same place.
Yeah.
But then when she did come back, I'd go back to her, though. Well, you go to her, though. She's very glamorous.
Really?
But very buxom.
See, I don't think you want somebody who's great-looking doing your hair. Have you noticed that people who do hair for a living have the worst hair?
Often, yes.
They all look. They've got the worst haircuts of anybody alive. I mean, if you looked at their hair as a representative of what they do in their shop, then you'd turn on your heels and run screaming out the door, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, not this one, but I have noticed that in the past. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but my girl's very, very good. And I felt a bit awkward when I had to go to other people when she was away having children. But
because they're touching you in a personal way, and you're allowing them to touch you as you wouldn't allow really anybody else. I mean, not even if you're getting fitted for a suit, do they put their hands on you like a hairdresser does?
She can do what the hell she likes, Mike. We used to have a Kelly Brooker-like who used to a junior there.
Right.
Unfortunately, she left.
But before she did, you were having a short back and sides, so like every other day.
I said I'd be like Princess Diana. I said I'd be in here every day, having my hair done if I could. It was fantastic. I mean, I've often gone in there when the Kelly Brooker-like was washing my hair, really fraught. But by the time she'd finished and massaged my scalp, it was like the floor was about a foot higher. I was just floating. It was fabulous.
Yeah, and she wondered why you wouldn't take your coat off. Thanks a lot, Nigel. Cheers, mate. Ta-da. This is LBC. Let's have Streatham, the interestingly named Pandora.
Yes, that's me.
Pandora?
Yes. Nick, I think you're a wonderful presenter. I phoned you up. I'm very nervous.
Oh, that's all right. I'll talk you through it. How are you?
Oh, well as can be.
But you mustn't grumble, eh?
I said to you that I wish you was on more. And I only stumbled upon you because I couldn't tolerate Ian Lee.
Well, I won't... No, let me just stop you there for a second. I am actually a big fan of Ian Lee's, and I won't have a word said against him.
Well, it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Right, there you go.
I think you're one of the best presenters that I've had. You make me laugh. And I did say to you, I hope you can be on more. And to my
And as though by magic?
Yes. Oh, it's great.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Pandora. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
You're a very good presenter,
Oh,
I must say that.
Cheers, my dear.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Ta-da. What a nice lady.
Was that your mum?
Here is Richmond. Hello, Alan.
Nick, you are being a girl about getting your hair cut. In your own words, stop whining!
Yes.
Just go to the... I mean, the way you people are talking, I'm like, are they talking about going to a hairdresser's or... is this like a brothel? And they're talking about their favourite hooker.
Well, that really would be business, wouldn't it?
If not, the only way you get an appointment is when somebody died.
Yes.
So it's not like you've slept with their best friend or anything.
No.
You've answered your own question. It wasn't even local.
No, no. But, you know, you go and have somebody do a service for you for that length of time, and despite the fact that they're not doing it for, like, a favour, you're paying them for it at the end. But I just feel... He's out of my life.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it can have a good,
everybody.
It can have a good aspect to it as well. I mean, I used to get a flat top done at the same place for like a million years.
A flat top?
Yeah, and when they brought the no smoking thing in, my barber used to virtually chain smoke, so he shut his shop. He went out of business.
Huh?
Because he couldn't cut hair anymore. So I ended up having a. Unfortunately, the place I've gone to is in Palm Springs, in California.
That's a little bit of a long way to get your hair cut, mate.
Yeah, I know, but I build up for it. I ended up going there with, like, really long hair, getting my hair cut there, and I'm like, I just asked for the regular flat top, and it was just done very slightly differently, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so much better. And now I can tell the next person over here that flat tops me how I want it doing, so that when I go to sleep on the sides, it doesn't look, you know, like somebody hit me in the head with a brick the following morning.
Alan, no one's worn a flat top for about 25 years.
Nick, you're going to the wrong clubs.
Really?
Seriously, yeah. But I agree with what you were saying about the way they touch you in ways that nobody else would.
Yeah.
I mean, my last hairdresser actually said if they carried on like that, I was going to start charging them instead of the other way round.
A little too much fun.
Yeah, a little bit too much enjoyment there for my liking.
All right.
But, I mean, they blackmail you emotionally into thinking you can't have your hair done anywhere else because you'll be deceiving them. And then you feel the same way even when they do a bad job. What are you going to say? Actually, that totally sucks. Don't charge me. And you find yourself tipping for a bad haircut.
Well, you always have to tip, especially if you're going to go back there again.
Well, that's right. So we just, you know, get on and on and on. Can I throw something else in?
Yes.
Nothing to do with hair.
Go on.
Why are we getting screwed on this whole fuel thing?
Fuel thing?
Yeah, we are totally being conned about how much oil is costing. Right, I've just come back from the States. When it goes up there, it goes up like 15 pence a gallon, and they're screaming to the roof.
Yeah, they do that, yes.
It's hovering around $3 now, and they think their life has been taken from them.
And what's it a gallon here? Because now we do litres. We don't know how much we're spending anymore, do we?
Well, that's right. That's how they started conning us. In the old days, it would go up a couple of p a gallon.
Yeah.
Now it goes up like 2, 3, 4p a litre.
How many litres in a gallon?
4.454. And I had some American friends over, right? I've got a Cadillac in the US. I fill it up from empty to full, and it's a big 5-litre-old boat. $30. I had a couple of American friends over here. I picked them up in a Chevy Suburban, had a quarter of a tank. We were going to Windsor, doing the whole sightseeing thing. I filled it up, and then I told them it had just cost me $280 to fill up, and they died.
Yes.
But the reason we're getting conned, right, is, I don't know, say 6 months ago or whatever, when it was like $76 a barrel and they were screaming, right? They're now saying it's $100 a barrel. What they aren't telling you is when it was $76 a barrel, there was $1.76 to the pound. Now there's over $2 to the pound.
Right.
Which is an extra 25 cents on the dollar. So how come our fuel should be no more expensive now than it was 6 months ago when it was $76 for a barrel because of the exchange rate?
Hence the part where we're getting screwed. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have a think about that. Thanks a lot, Alan. Leave that with us. All right. Cheers, mate. And on that topic, it's 9:45. Here's Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. And if you're heading onto public transport,
Abbott.
Come on, we're running late!
I'm right about that flat top thing, though, aren't I? Late 80s, 90s, something like that. I mean, when that whole rockabilly thing was in. It's the Stray Cats and all that. People wander around the King's Road with flat tops, like they were 50s rockabilly rebels. No one wears a flat top anymore. They used to have a giant comb that they put on the top of your head and buzzed over it. It's like imagine a comb that's about sort of 6 inches wide and the teeth are 6 inches long, and they just put all your hair in the comb and then they just cut across it to make the flat top.
What an easy way to cut hair.
Yeah.
It was big in hip-hop circles as well.
Oh, right, the hip-hop circles.
Yeah, and they had to be really high as well. They had to be big.
They had to be high?
Literally.
Cue that sound effect.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Want to score some pot?
Like that. Yo! And that's the reason why. Wembley. Hello, Ramji.
Hi, how are you?
All right, thanks.
Now, what do you think of your new hairdresser?
Pardon?
What do you think of your new hairdresser?
What do I think about them?
Mm-hmm. Does he cut it properly?
Yeah, well, I like it a lot.
Oh, you like him a lot?
It was a her.
There's no reason for you to feel guilty about him.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you're right, but I do anyway. Just because I've been going to the same guy for such a long time, almost a quarter of a century, and without notice, I'm suddenly not going anymore.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you wanted him there, he wasn't there.
Well, he had the bad manners to take a holiday, right?
Yeah, well, possibly that was his luck.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
But, you know, every now and again, am I right? I mean, just to feel as though you're living, you should do something different with your life, because otherwise this is your life until you die, right? Unless you change it up every now and again.
Well, that is true. I agree with you there.
And so, that's my my middle-aged rebellion. Getting a haircut somewhere else. Pretty weak on the scale of things, eh?
Well, I don't see any problem there. You should go ahead and do what you like.
All right. I'll tell him you said so.
All right, then.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Okay, bye for now.
Cheers. Bye. Yeah, I don't, I shouldn't feel guilty about it, right? I mean, you've been going...
The fact that you're questioning it means that you do it.
Well, I do, yeah, I do, because even though you see somebody once every 4 weeks, once every 6 weeks, whatever it is, and because you talk to them a lot. I mean, if it was a dentist, no bother, because you've got a mouthful...
They give you pain.
Well, you've got a mouthful of equipment, so you can't really talk to them anyway. And yet they do a more intimate job on you, really. I mean, they're actually inside you, aren't they?
Well, it's true, though. I know what you mean, but I don't know if they're providing a good service and you're happy with that service, then I don't know. You build up that relationship, don't you? And then you
because you're talking to them all the time, and you carry on the conversation this time more or less where you left off the last time, and you see them. It's like once every 6 weeks. You know, you get to adulthood, and you see your close friends once every 6 weeks. You know, your parents.
And you've had that routine as well for the last 25 years or whatever. So to break that routine's difficult.
It is.
You'll feel guilty if they close down, wouldn't you?
Yes. Absolutely, yes. I
Maybe
would.
you were keeping them going.
Well, that's very possible. I could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Yeah.
My hairdresser forgets everything about me every time I go. We just have the same conversation every time.
See, he's got the hairdresser that just switches off.
Right. Well, you would, though, really, if you were a hairdresser. I mean, what do people talk about?
Unless
their
it's really
holidays
juicy.
and... Well, no, blokes don't talk about relationship stuff.
Women do, with their hairdresser.
No,
we just talk about, well, holidays. That's about it, really, isn't it? Holidays and
football.
Cars.
Yeah.
Cars.
What have you been to see any films lately? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, we don't do soul searching. We don't do relationship stuff, blokes.
You're too odd for that.
The last time I went to my hairdresser's, it was open, and I walked in the door, and it was completely empty, and everything was left there like one of those zombie films or something. You know, everything was in place like it had just been left, and the keys were still in the till.
What?
And the chair had just been, you know, there was a towel laying on it. Someone had just had their hair cut, and I was thinking, what do I?
Tumbleweeds blowing in the street outside.
Do I call someone? And I checked everywhere, and I thought, because he's getting on a wee bit, and I thought I'll check downstairs, and there was no sign of him whatsoever, and I was starting to get a bit worried after about 10 minutes, because the place was open but deserted.
How weird.
And then he just came round. He was at the shop round the corner. He just left the place
with the key in the till.
Yeah.
Oh, smart move.
Yeah.
Of course, no one would ever nick anything in London. No. That's virtually unheard of.
This is...
Oh, me. That often catches me out. Willesden. Oh, Gary.
Hello, Nick.
Gary.
I've got one piece of advice on haircuts.
Yeah.
I don't often quote Enoch Powell, but when he was asked by the House of Commons barber how he'd like his haircut, all he said was, in silence.
What a nice man he was.
True, though, isn't it? True.
Well, it very much depends, but you do feel, if you start a conversation with somebody, and they're still fiddling about with your head, you feel as though you need to continue the conversation, because silence will start to echo, like you're falling off a cliff into a deep vat of silence. And so, I don't do small talk, apart from at work.
No, silence is fine. And the point is that hairdressers, hair barbers, whatever you want to call, are really bad at small talk. They're so insincere, it's not even worth going down that road.
Right. Maybe that's just you, Gary. No offence. But thanks anyway. That should be the watchword of people who call. How would I like to take the calls? In silence. Isn't that right, Trixie? Oh, these are the jokes, folks.
Oh, dear, yeah. Oh, yes, it's good, isn't it? So you're going to be a touchy-feely, all-new Nick Abbott from now on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So your whole life has suddenly changed. Completely.
Well, it actually has, essentially, because I wander around looking like somebody else. I mean, I bet, Alex, you've virtually didn't recognise me. Who is that fantastic-looking bloke, you thought?
I thought, wow, 20 years younger at least.
No, but I mean, you've been on holiday.
Oh, dear. This building is backing up on me. Sorry, go on.
No, you've been on holiday lots of times, so that's going to make up for the no holiday.
Twice. 2 basically long weekends packed into the middle of the week.
I hope you made the most of them, sir.
Yeah, well, I didn't go crazy.
No.
I'm not Prince.
No, all right.
Let's go crazy.
Okay, well, it's nice to see the sensitive side coming out. You know, maybe we'll see more interesting bits coming out.
Yeah, that's the thing about me, is I'm so sensitive.
You are, yes. I always have the same hairdresser, and I have the same haircut, and I go in and I say hello, and I quite often if I don't want to talk, I won't talk, and that's it.
Yeah, although there is I do feel, is it because it's somebody that you're not intimate with that's messing about with your head, you do feel as though you want to keep up a conversation in order to really break the tension almost, because they're invading your space like no one else is allowed to.
Yes.
And so if you don't talk to them, then I don't know.
I know
it might take on another.
Yes, I do know what you mean. You are very, very vulnerable there. I do agree. Yeah, but no, I've got a sweet young girl, and she cuts my hair. She's in on Thursdays and Fridays, so I pop in every now and again. And as it turns out, my hair's just getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer.
Well, you want to get it cut, dear?
No, I keep missing Thursdays and Fridays, and it's in such good nick. It's just growing, which is great.
Well, if you don't mind me saying so, Trixie, you look fantastic.
Oh, jeez, thank you.
I can say that with the benefit of never having seen you.
Oh, thank you.
It's just a guess on my part.
Oh.
Anyway, Trixie, it's coming to that time where I must stop speaking until this...
Very much.
Until, whenever it is tomorrow. When is it? 7. Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
Bye.
Right, what was our favourite topic this evening? Shirt pockets. Absolutely right. Clive's next.